Brandon or Bill or any of my producers in the past and say, hey, you realize you said this? I did? Or you guys will correct me also on the
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding.
Whoa!
Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woo-hoo. Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You're listening to the home of InterMiami CF.
His strike is a decent one. It's fired into the top right corner. Gonzalo Higuain opens his account for InterMiami.
OnsideRadio.com, where the passion for La Rosa Negra runs deep. Download the Radio.net app and listen to Onside Radio in every InterMiami CF game. OnsideRadio.com, your home for InterMiami soccer.
Let's raise a cup to the first among us who put themselves last. To the risk takers, the mask makers, the heroes on the front line and online. To the ones keeping shelves full and keeping us hopeful. To those who don't stop and those making all the stops. To the ones who pick up, suit up, and never let us down. From all of us at Dunkin' to all the heroes keeping everyone running, we thank you.
You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno.
It's all yours. Just keep it right here.
You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
And they have not met on this stage until right now. Underway in the first ever All-Florida Series in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Down the wall, return feed for Savard on his backhand. Kucherov, a slap pass to the middle, Palat point blank, and Bobrovsky with the save. Cleared out by the Panthers to the red line. Kucherov with the quick up, moving in. Kucherov centering feed behind Braden Point. Moving the puck ahead, and here is Bennett with Huberdeau, with speed. Huberdeau to the net, a stop by Vasilevsky. Back out in front, it's Bennett. And he couldn't get a clean look, but we have a whistle here. Play for Florida. Huberdeau shot, bounces around in front. Vasilevsky down, and he has the puck. Amidst all the chaos in his crease. Thing you cannot do. You cannot push a goalie's glove or pad with your stick without possession of the puck. So no goal. Shorthanded. Tampa scores! Blake Coleman! How about that for a swing in momentum? Florida had thought they had taken...
Grammarly can help.
Yes! Although I'm not happy about that result. But I'm still in a good mood overall today. So we start the show with a big yes. It is. It is. Man of the Match with Alex Donno. Oh, I'm Alex Donno. And I'm with you guys here on OnsideRadio.com on a Monday. Got Alex Aguirre producing the show, doing awesome, awesome work here. We're broadcasting live from Drive Pink Stadium, the beautiful Drive Pink Stadium, home of InterMiami CF. Beautiful day outside, few clouds in the sky, but I don't see any rainstorms or anything. Hope I don't have any rain when I get out of here in about 3 hours. I'm looking at the old Fort Lauderdale skyline, kissing the horizon off in the distance. What a time to be alive, my friends. Make sure, we're already streaming live on YouTube. Go to YouTube app, youtube.com, search Onside Radio. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, by the way. But when you're on Onside Radio, hit the Watch Live button, and you can watch us all day long, man. Oh, I see our guy, Ray Grullon, is the first guy in. He says, howdy, Donno. First one in, go Onside Radio. Go, Ray. Thank you so much, Ray. So you can watch us live on YouTube. You know, we start streaming in the morning with Toast and Kai. You know, every time a show ends, the stream ends and we start a new one. So make sure, like, if you're watching the end of my show tonight, when our guy, Stephen D, comes on for the Miami Sports Music Show, which debuts tonight at 6 o'clock. New evening show, my friend, 6 until 7 p.m. I can't wait to do some crosstalk with Stephen in a few hours. That's going to be a really, really good time. I haven't been able to do crosstalk with anybody for quite some time here. So make sure you're watching Onside Radio all throughout the day from 8 a.m. until 7 p.m. We'll even take you till 9 p.m. on Thursday nights when I have Fight Night, the great combat sports show that I host with James Walker. So welcome aboard to YouTube, everyone. If you can't watch us on YouTube, and I understand if you're, driving around, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to watch us on YouTube. I don't want you, looking at your phone screen while you're driving. Focus on the road. If you're driving or you're like out for a jog, makes a lot more sense to listen to us on one of the many mobile apps where we are available, free mobile apps. I was listening today on the Radio FM app. I also have the Simple Radio app. I have the MyTuner Radio app. You download any of those free apps, you search for Onside Radio, make us your favorite station. And by the way, the old life hack is when you're in the car, if your car is like 15 years old or younger, you probably have Bluetooth capabilities into your speaker, right? Unless you drive a really, really old car, you probably have Bluetooth in your car. And if you connect your phone to your car through Bluetooth, you can listen to us through the app right on your car speakers. And it sounds a lot better than AM radio, my friends. So make sure you take advantage of that, because when you're driving around, there's really no reason why you can't be listening to OnsideRadio.com. We're rocking and rolling with you. You're not going to find as much live local sports talk as you will find right here. If you listen to other places, you're going to hear a lot of national talk, some blowhards in Connecticut on ESPN Radio. We don't give you any of that crap. We don't give you any of that nonsense. Speaking of nonsense, Tampa Bay Lightning took game one against our beloved Florida Panthers by a final score of 5-4. Really high-scoring game yesterday. You heard the highlights coming in. We only have ourselves to blame. I'm not going to sit here and, blame the referees, even though I thought the Sam Bennett opening goal should have counted. That was a very ticky-tack call to call goaltender interference there. That was a huge momentum swing. Right, Sam Bennett thought he'd scored, giving the Panthers a 1-0 lead about 7 minutes into the game. And then right after that goal was disallowed, and I thought that was very harsh. That was on a power play for the Panthers, and in that same power play, Tampa goes back and scores the shorthanded goal courtesy of Blake Coleman. Huge momentum shifter right there. And the Tampa Bay Lightning, I'll give them credit where credit is due. They were unbelievable on special teams yesterday. So the Panthers did get one power play goal. That was the answer from Alexander Barkov. He scored about 2 minutes after the Coleman goal to tie up the hockey game. It was a fantastic hockey game last night. I mean, it was incredible. Outside of the result, which made me unhappy, the actual game was incredible. You got goals from Barkov, who scored on the power play. Carter Verhaeghe scored his first playoff goal, and it was a laser beam. It was an absolute laser beam. The Panthers had the 2-1 lead after the first period. Then in the second period, the Tampa Bay Lightning power play. My God, it's frightening. Nikita Kucherov, who's magically recovered from that long-term injury, even though he's been skating with the team the last 2 months. More on that in a second. Nikita Kucherov scored on the power play, then he scored again on the power play. Tampa Bay had the 3-2 lead heading into the third period. The third period was bonkers. Oh, my God, I was so emotional. I had gotten home during the second period. I got home after, Big O and I had the post-game show for InterMiami yesterday from Dangerous Minds Brewing Company in Pompano. So I made the long drive from Pompano down to Kendall. I turn on the game. I'm watching the second period, which wasn't so good for the Panthers. And in the third period, Jonathan Huberdeau ties the game up at 3. Owen Tippett, congratulations to him getting his first playoff goal, gave the Panthers the 4-3 lead. That was 4 minutes, 9 seconds into the third period. Then I'm thinking, okay, Panthers are in really good position here. We're going to take this thing. Another Tampa power play goal after that. Braden Point scored on the power play to make it 4-4, 13 minutes into the period, so there were 7 minutes left on the clock. And then at that point, we're bracing ourselves for overtime. The two prior playoff games earlier in the day had both gone to OT, so I just kind of thought, that's what we're doing today. All the Stanley Cup playoff games are going to overtime. We'll brace ourselves for that. And then Braden Point scores the one that broke our backs, the 1846 mark. So a minute and change left on the clock. Game-winning goal. 5 of those pucks get by Bobrovsky. We'll certainly talk about him. He's the topic of the roundtable discussion today that all of our hosts are addressing. I'll tell you the factor for losing that game last night. Panthers have got to be better on the penalty kill. I mean, guys, you're not going to win too many games in the National Hockey League, especially not in the playoffs, when you're allowing the opposing team to go 3 for 4 on the power play. That's a poison pill. You cannot allow your opponent to go 3 for 4 on the power play and expect to win. Your penalty kill has to be better. And let's not forget, the Panthers also gave up a goal early when they were on the power play. And obviously, I know that they were upset at that moment because they had just had a goal disallowed. And then, a few moments later, Tampa kind of takes advantage of that chaos. And Braden Point scores, Blake Coleman scores the goal that gives Tampa the 1-0 lead. That was a really ridiculous momentum shift, and it was a weird spot for the Panthers to be in, but still inexcusable in the same game to give up a shorty and to give up 3 power play goals. You're not going to win games in this league, especially not in the playoffs, when you're in situations like that. For what it's worth, 5-on-5, Florida Panthers were the better team. 5-on-5 and 4-on-4. They had a couple of 4-on-4 stretches in that game last night, and the Panthers were the better team at even strength. But, if you're going to be so poor in penalty-killing situations, you're going to be so poor on special teams, this Tampa Bay Lightning team, which are the defending Stanley Cup team from last year, Stanley Cup winners, they're going to make you pay every single time. And what really upsets me is they take home ice advantage now right away from you. And, okay, we can get through it, right? Losing game 1 is not a catastrophe. Losing game 1, it happens. This is going to be a close series. When it was an incredibly close game last night, it's only going to get more and more physical. You thought last night was chippy and physical. It's only going to get chippier and more physical throughout this series. And I think this series is going to end up going 7 games, 6 at the very minimum. So losing game 1 is not a catastrophe. But here's the thing. Here's the way that I look at it as a Florida Panthers fan. Our sphincters need to really tighten up, okay? Because if you lose game 2, the series is effectively over. The ball is in our court. The puck is in our zone, if you want to use a more hockey-friendly analogy. I think this is going to be a long, painstaking, exciting roller coaster of a series, and if you're in neutral, you're just going to sit back and enjoy. If you're a Panthers fan or you're a Tampa Bay Lightning fan, there's going to be a lot of stress in your life for about the next, a little over a week while this series is raging on. But if the Florida Panthers don't even things up in game 2 tomorrow night, then unfortunately you're stuck in quicksand and you're trying to climb out the rest of the series. They're not going to come back down 0-2 against that Tampa Bay Lightning team. Finito. You're finished if you don't win tomorrow night. You have to even up this series at 1, and then I will still be a firm believer the Panthers can do this. My prediction before the series started was Panthers in 7. Yeah, I said I think home ice is going to be decisive. It's going to get to a 7th game at home, and the Panthers are going to win it. Kudos to the crowd. You guys sounded great on television. If there's any of you listening who were at the game last night, there was about 9,400 people at the BB&T Center, 50% capacity. Job well done. Bravo, because you guys were loud, you were passionate, you were formidable, and you need to keep doing that, hopefully, for we hope 3 more home games because we hope, well, you know what? If the Panthers wrap it up at 5, that would be fine as well if there's not 3 more home games. But up to 3 more home games, keep bringing it as strong as you did last night. You guys were absolutely awesome. But, yeah, if you lose game 2, your goose is cooked. You're not going to win this series. You're not coming back down 0-2 against this Tampa Bay Lightning team. The pressure is on. That leads us into the roundtable question for today. Every day, all of our hosts from Toast in the morning, Kai Chen Chisholm midday, Big O noontime, me, Stephen D, and the Miami Sports Music crew going to be weighing in on these roundtable questions as well. After the Florida Panthers dropped Game 1 to Tampa Bay last night, who are you starting in Game 2 between the pipes, and why? Between Sergei Bobrovsky and Chris Driedger. Now, it wasn't exactly Bob's fault you lost that game last night. I know that 4 goals being scored, you're always going to put a question mark over the goaltender and say, okay, how bad was it? Like, none of those were laughers on Bob's part, but here's the thing. If you're trying to find any edge against a potent squad like the Tampa Bay Lightning, you need your goalie to be extraordinary. That's what Bob was 2 years ago. When Bob was a Columbus Blue Jacket and they swept Tampa Bay in round 1, Bob was standing on his head. That's what you need. Like, you need that sort of a factor. Like, you know, I can't say Bob was bad last night. I also can't say he was great. He was ordinary last night. And unfortunately, ordinary against the Tampa Bay Lightning is probably not good enough. Like, you can look at each and every one of those 5 goals that were let in and say none of those were terrible errors from Sergei Bobrovsky, and that's fine. But given the dynamic that the Florida Panthers have had a goaltender all year long, when you've always had a rotation, you've always had a 1A and 1B between Sergei Bobrovsky and Chris Driedger. And actually, for most times, Driedger has felt more like 1A, and Bob has felt more like 1B. If the Panthers had won that game last night and Bob had been just pulling off ridiculous save after ridiculous save, then, of course, I would say ride the hot glove, ride the hot pad, and keep Bob in there. Keep him in there till the wheels come off. It wasn't terrible last night, but again, there's no reason why you don't give Chris Driedger a shot in Game 2 tomorrow night, because maybe he gets out there and plays red hot. So, unfortunately for Sergei Bobrovsky and unfortunately for Panthers fans, Bob didn't do enough to show, hey, I've got to keep getting these starts in the postseason. I'm perfectly fine with giving Driedger a shot in Game 2. Chris Driedger's got to be your goalie tomorrow. Now, 5 o'clock today, we're going to talk with our very good pal George Richards from FloridaHockeyNow.com, and I'll get his take, and I'll get his expectation. Now, you know, the Panthers, they didn't have practice this morning. They took the day off. So I don't think that there was any media availability today, so no one got a chance to hear from Coach Q and kind of pick his brain on it. So I'm sure that'll come tomorrow, hours before the game. But I would love to know what George Richards is thinking in terms of which goaltender should and will get the start in Game 2, because I think you have to go with Driedger. You have to give Driedger now the opportunity to show you if he can have the hot form in goal. I think that's got to be the way you answer that question for tomorrow. Sergei Bobrovsky did not do enough last night to say this is my job to lose. I think you have to give Driedger a shot, right? This is not about sparing anyone's feelings. It's not about how much Sergei Bobrovsky is getting paid. He is paid very, very well, and Driedger is probably not going to be back next year. He's going to leave in free agency because Sergei Bobrovsky's contract is the Panthers are tied to it, and it is very expensive. They're not bringing Driegs back next year, but you're talking about winning now. Chris Driedger needs the shot tomorrow. All right, when we come back, our Monday tradition, my friends, we'll hand out our winners and losers of the weekend when we return. And later this hour, 3:35, we're going to take a deep dive on InterMiami CF with Thomas Rongen, color commentator here on Onside Radio. So keep it locked. The only locally owned sports station in South Florida. We are OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Listen to OnsideRadio.com anywhere by downloading the MyTuner Radio app in your app store. Or go to MyTunerRadio.com on your web browser. OnsideRadio.com. South Florida sports leader. When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. At OnsideRadio.com, we chirp all day and night. It's time to do some more chirping with David Dwork at our Chirping the Cats report.
Say what you want about Game 1, but it sure was entertaining. The Panthers and Lightning kicked off their 7-game opening round Stanley Cup playoff series Sunday night, with the Bolts coming out on top 5-4. Braden Point scored twice during the third period, including the game-winning goal with just 1:14 to go. Nikita Kucherov also had a pair of goals for Tampa in what was his first game since last year's Stanley Cup final. Jonathan Huberdeau led the way for Florida with 3 points, while Sasha Barkov and Owen Tippett each finished with a goal and an assist apiece. Unfortunately for Florida, special teams once again would be their downfall. Tampa converted on 3 of their 4 power play opportunities, while also adding a shorthanded goal to boot. The Panthers will regroup on Monday and hope to avoid falling into an 0-2 hole. Game 2 between the Cats and Bolts will take place Tuesday night at the BB&T Center.
Keep up with the latest on the Florida Panthers by subscribing on most platforms by searching Onside Radio, your home for South Florida sports.
Now that it's springtime, it's only getting hotter here in South Florida. Make sure your AC in your home or business is running smoothly by investing in a preventative maintenance plan from M&S Air Conditioning. And M&S is a Mitsubishi Diamond Elite contractor. When you purchase a new Mitsubishi electric mini split system, you'll get a 12-year warranty. Or install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit that captures and destroys biological contaminants to improve air quality. M&S Air Conditioning have been providing prompt, honest, and reliable service for over 30 years. Schedule service or call to get more info on our preventative maintenance plans. Call 954-421-3680 or visit ac-florida.com.
Join the InterMiami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station.
With Make-A-Wish, the impossible becomes possible. A girl battling cancer can become a race car driver battling the course. The boy showing all the nurses his fire trucks can take the helm of a real one. Wishes can give kids with critical illnesses the strength to keep fighting, get better, and grow up.
Where there's a wish, there's a way.
Wishes need you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Later this hour at 3:35, we're going to talk some InterMiami with Thomas Rongen, the coach, CBS Sports HQ, BN Sports, right here on the InterMiami CF Radio Network. You can listen to all the games here on Onside Radio. Thomas Rongen does an awesome job. 4 o'clock, we're going to talk some football with Antoine Staley, our good friend from the Tallahassee Democrat. 4:20, get pumped for this. I've spoken to this woman on air before. In fact, I don't know, a little over a year ago, she joined me in studio at a previous work spot, which was awesome. Valerie Loretta. If you haven't been watching her fight, you should. She's 4-0. She fights for Bellator. She's fighting this weekend at Bellator 259. South Florida, born and raised. She comes from a martial arts family. Her father is a Taekwondo instructor. Her mother, I think, is a former Olympian. She's got sisters who fight. Like, she is so cool. She's also, you know, she's a multimedia star. She has a great Instagram page, TikTok. I don't even know how to use TikTok, but I've gone on TikTok to see what Valerie Loretta is up to because she's really awesome. She's going to join us in about an hour from now at 4:20. We'll get her take on her fight coming up at Bellator 259. And at 5 o'clock, we're going to talk some more Florida Panthers with George Richards. Before we get to all that, a Monday tradition. It was a busy sports weekend, some good, some bad, some ugly. It's time for our winners and losers of the weekend.
Let's check out the winners and losers from this past week with Alex Donno. Winners and losers.
Well, InterMiami gave us something to be happy about yesterday. So the first winner is InterMiami head coach Phil Neville. Bravo. Made some bold lineup moves yesterday for the starting 11, and it paid off, my friends. He benched Rodolfo Pizarro, who is one of the highly paid DPs. Hadn't been performing lately, so he was riding the pine to start the game with Federico Higuain, the brother of Gonzalo, who got the start at attacking midfielder, and it worked out. Federico played really well. He played for 77 minutes, so Phil pushed the right button there. He started Breck Shea at left wing, which worked out great. Breck Shea scored a goal in the game. And then, Pizarro was brought on late as a substitute and actually made a pretty decent impact late in the game. He did a nice job holding up the ball in the corner to help blow off some time with a 1-goal lead, which is really important, right? Because you have a 1-goal lead really late in the match. You love to be able to get a player out to the corner flag, hold on to the ball. He also had a big shot on goal, nearly scored to make it 4-2. So really good job by Phil Neville. I know that when Phil came over, he had previously been coaching the English women's national team. Coaching a club versus a national team, it's a big adjustment. It's a lot different. And, Major League Soccer, MLS, is so different from the style of play in Europe anyway that there's always going to be adjustment. I know people had a lot of doubts about Phil coming over. So far, I think he's done well. I mean, the club, they're not in first place or anything, but they would be in a playoff spot right now if the season ended today. And Phil Neville, I think, has done some good stuff here, and I thought he did really well with the team's approach and with the starting 11 last night. So kudos to Phil. Another winner, Gonzalo Higuain, gets his first brace in the InterMiami CF shirt. Scored 2 goals yesterday, both from open play. Hadn't done that yet in Major League Soccer. Scored last year on a direct free kick. Scored this year on a penalty kick. Scored on a header off of a free kick. So the 2 goals that he scored yesterday, and they were both really nice goals, especially the last one because that was the game-winning goal late at the 85th minute. Both open play goals, so well done to Gonzalo Higuain. He had an awesome game. He's a winner for the week. Another winner. I'll go with the Miami Heat, man. Now, mainly the Heat are a winner. They had a loss and a victory over the weekend. They lost to Milwaukee Saturday. They beat Detroit Sunday. But the Heat are a winner for avoiding the dreaded play-in. Now, I don't love their first-round matchup against Milwaukee, but better that and avoid the play-in. The Heat are also winners for clowning Detroit last night, even though their starting lineup was Gabe Vincent, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Nemanja Bjelica, and Precious Achua. And so that was really good on the Heat for winning that game yesterday. The final winner, before we move on to the losers, I'm going to hand out a winner to Marv Albert. It's been reported that the 80-year-old legendary play-by-play man is going to be retiring after these NBA playoffs. TNT is going to have games through the conference finals. And then after the conference finals, Marv Albert is going to retire. Good for him. Hasn't sounded like himself lately, but an incredible career. Called his first game back in 1963. In fact, Alex, do you have that audio? We were playing this from Marv calling a Heat game last week. And again, I want to reiterate, I hope there's not some kind of an illness for Marv. I think he's just old. He's been doing this. I mean, he's 80 years old, Marv. You can't expect necessarily an 80-year-old on the mic, to sound like a 50-year-old. But it's clear Marv does not have the same pep in his step that he had a few years back. Listen to Marv calling a Heat game last week.
So Miami back to the offense. Tyler Hero on TNT. That's next Tuesday. And Shake Milton able to find the open alley and takes advantage. Played by Robinson. Embiid is back. This is Tobias Harris.
So Marv, listen, you've been doing this for 60-some years, okay? You've made plenty of money. You've stamped out your legacy. Time to walk away. Kudos to him for walking away. Marv Albert retiring. He's a winner of the weekend. Let's get to the losers. First loser, Florida Panthers penalty kill. Woof. They allowed the Lightning to go 3 for 4 on the power play. Tampa also, as mentioned, scored a shorthanded goal, so it's safe to say the Panthers lost that game last night on special teams. 3 power play goals given up, shorthanded goal given up. You're not going to win in this league when you do that, not in the playoffs. The next loser, I'm sure this annoyed Alex Aguirre as well, because you were here in studio working the Inter-Miami game with Sean Stanley, right? You were here in the building while that was going on, so this must have annoyed you as well. Fox Network, they pushed back the start of the Inter-Miami FC Cincinnati game last night. They pushed it back by a half hour due to what? Bowling. They started our game late. The game was supposed to start at 4. They didn't start until 4:30 because there was an important bowling match. Bowling! We got preempted for professional bowling. Does anyone actually watch bowling on TV? Are they going to postpone our game for a big skee ball tournament next week? Oh, I'm sorry. Is there an important ping pong match that you have to postpone our game for? What is this crap? Or are you going to start us late because there's a big cornhole tournament going on next week? Like, postponing the start of an I know that soccer in this country, I love soccer. You guys know that. It's just one of my 2 or 3 favorite sports. I love soccer, and I know soccer in this country does not get the sort of special treatment that, American football, NBA basketball get. But, bros, I thought we were better than getting postponed for bowling. Bowling. Oh, is there a Johnsonville brats eating contest happening next week? We can get one of those Nathan's hot dogs things going on. Like, come on. Postponing our game for bowling? Like, no, I'm sorry, Fox. The next time you have this kind of a scenario, you bounce the freaking bowling over to Fox Sports 1 that nobody watches, or Fox Sports 2, if that even still exists. You bounce the bowling onto another channel, and you start the MLS game. You don't postpone us a half hour for freaking bowling. Oh, my God. There's going to be a big big beer pong match happening next week. It's ridiculous. Big losers, the Fox Network. Where are your priorities? Final loser. This annoyed me over the weekend. Italian soccer referee Gianpaolo Calvarese. Great hair, but he's a clown. Got everything wrong in the Juventus versus Inter match over the weekend. Inter Milan, of course, my love over in Europe. Now, listen, the good news is that game, which was ultimately, quote-unquote, won by Juventus 3-2, didn't really matter for me because Inter have already locked up the championship. They've had it locked up for over 2 weeks now, so the result didn't really matter. But Juventus needed the victory to stay alive in the Champions League race for top 4, and that referee helped them win that game. Now, he was bad. Like, I understand, like, if our guy Rob from Brooklyn Rob, I should say, is listening, he's going to get mad at me for saying, like, the referee only gave stuff to Juventus. The ref was really bad on both sides. There were 3 total penalty kicks awarded in that game. All of them were bad calls, especially the third one that ultimately was the game winner for Juventus, the one that Cuadrado. There was no foul on the play. Like, Cuadrado fouled Perisic, if anything. He awards a penalty kick there. It was absurd. 2 players were ejected in the game. There were yellow cards being handed out like candy on Halloween. It was absolutely absurd, the refereeing yesterday, and that clown Calvarese should never be allowed to ref a game ever again. It was an absolute embarrassing refereeing performance, and he is a loser because of it. Herman brings up in the YouTube chat, wasn't Marv Albert accused of biting a woman? Yeah, that was long before his 80th birthday. There was a little bit of a sex scandal with Marv a couple decades ago. I was he was into some weird stuff, let's say, okay? 844-416-8123 is how you get in on the station text line. That's 844-416-8123. We're going to talk a little bit more Inter-Miami soccer. Big win yesterday, even though they pushed it back a half hour for bowling, for freaking bowling. But we're going to talk with the coach, Thomas Rongen, color analyst for Inter-Miami here on Onside Radio, analyst for BN Sports and CBS Sports HQ. He's going to join us next on your home for Inter-Miami CF fans all over the world, OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Listen to every InterMiami CF match on your home for La Rosa Negra. OnSideRadio.com. Catch us every day on the MyTuner Radio app. If you missed Onside Zone with Big O, you missed.
The 25-year-old was reportedly arrested this past week near Vail, where a sheriff's deputy said he saw Camargo's car speeding and changing lanes erratically, which is always really smart. When you're carrying a lot of drugs, you want to speed, you want to swerve, you want to look like you're drunk and high and all that. You want to cause as much attention. You want to bring as much attention to you when you're carrying a load of drugs. That's just a tip for you, thieves out there, you drug dealers, you criminals. Bring all the attention possible to you while you're committing a crime. It's really, really smart.
The Onside Zone with Big O, only on OnSideRadio.com.
Join the InterMiami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit InterMiamiCF.com/tickets for more information.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnSideRadio.com sports update.
Inter-Miami beat FC Cincinnati 3-2, getting a brace from Gonzalo Higuain and a goal from Breck Shea. Inter-Miami's next match is away at Chicago Fire FC Saturday night at 6 p.m. Florida Panthers lose Game 1 of their NHL playoff series to the Tampa Bay Lightning 5-4. Jonathan Huberdeau had a goal and 2 assists, but Braden Point had 2 late goals. The winner with 1:14 left in the game. Game 2 tomorrow night, with puck dropping at 8 p.m. Miami Heat beat the Detroit Pistons yesterday 120-107. Precious Achiuwa scored a career-high 23 points, and Max Strus added 20 for the Heat. They will end up with a 6th seed and start the playoffs against the Milwaukee Bucks, who beat the Heat on Saturday night 122-108. The Marlins lost 2 of 3 over the weekend after a 3-2 win yesterday. Not a bad day at the office for Adam Duvall as he hit a 3-run homer and threw out Mookie Betts at the plate. Marlins are 18-22 on the year. They start a series against the Philadelphia Phillies tomorrow. You're listening to South Florida's only locally owned sports talk station. Coming up, it's more of Man of the Match with Alex Donno right here at OnSideRadio.com.
Parents, we know we can't protect our kids from everything. Eventually, they're going to bump their heads or scrape their knees. But we can protect them from 6 types of cancer. HPV, or human papillomavirus, is a common, preventable virus that can cause cancer later in life. The HPV vaccine prevents human papillomavirus and all the cancers it can cause. The American Cancer Society recommends getting your sons and daughters the HPV vaccine starting at age 9 to protect them later in life.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
It's always great when we can bring on the coach, Thomas Rongen. He does an awesome job on CBS Sports HQ, on BN Sports, and right here on Onside Radio. He's our color analyst for InterMiami CF games. Thomas, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I know we all had a good time yesterday watching InterMiami win. How's everything with you?
Awesome, Donno. Thanks for having me on again. And always makes waking up the next day after a W on the road so much better. I'll tell you that.
It really is. And before we dive deeper into it, did you catch any of the debacle of officiating between Juventus and Inter on Saturday. And I can't say it's the worst I've ever seen before because I've been watching Juventus versus Inter games for the last almost 30 years, so I'm used to shit show after shit show. That was pretty bad on Saturday, and strap yourself in and get used to it, Coach, because with Serie A coming to CBS Sports next year, you're going to have a lot of head-scratching refereed games when Juventus are involved.
Yeah, I agree with you, and the color of the jersey in some countries, Donno, makes a difference, baby, and that's all I'm going to say. But what a crazy finish, by the way, outside of the fact that the referee were dismal. What a game, and a lifeline for Juve still to a certain extent.
Yeah,
your team had it wrapped up already weeks ago,
No, I know exactly, and I was about to say that I didn't have like the usual conniption that I would have had. Like I would have if that game had been decisive in some way for the title, I would have lost my mind, Coach. So at least at the end of it, I could just kind of sit back and laugh and say, "Yep, that's Serie A for you."
Yeah. Thank God, no suicide watch for you, Donald.
It would have been. Oh, man. So, all right, so let's get on to the local club who did a really good job. I love being able to go into someone else's stadium and actually spoil the opening of that stadium.
Yep.
It kind of felt kind of nice to go in there and do that. But, Coach, I want to get into Phil Neville because, I gave him a lot of credit in the previous segment because he made a couple of bold moves with the starting 11, and it really paid off, especially, of course, with Federico Higuain starting at the number 10, actually benching Pizarro, and that really paid off. And then Breck Shea on the left wing was tremendous in the first half. So, what can you say about the way Phil Neville approached that match?
I thought he did if we have to grade people, he will be one of the higher grades, in particular after a very, dismal performance on Wednesday that we all witnessed, obviously. And what a change. A change in tactics, building out of the back just a little bit more was an emphasis, and centrally, which means he'd done some scouting, talked about the pressure that Cincinnati will give us is more out wide. So we felt we could play through Higuain, through Matuidi and Gregory more often, which they did. I thought Gregory had a monster game and involved in one of the games. Matuidi, almost 90% pass accuracy, and if you look at that final goal, it starts with McCarthy. Yes, we get a lucky bounce with Morgan, but at least there was an emphasis on building, and we just lost in the possession department, so that was huge, I thought. Secondly, you're right. I mean, the big change obviously was Federico, and the bigger statement was not starting Pizarro, which in the past, he moved him sometimes to the left, but it became Breck Shea, who, on both sides of the ball, particularly in the first half, scoring that first goal, huge, great run at the back post. We've seen a Breck Shea that I know. I coached Breck Shea for quite a few years with the under-20 men's national team of the U.S. He's better higher up the pitch. That's more of his comfort zone. But on the other hand, he also helped Sami Khedira, keeping Joe Zhao, a great overlapping fullback, at bay as well. So huge performances, topped off maybe by the biggest story, 2 goals by Gonzalo Higuain, obviously, in the run of play as well, his 4th of the year now. Huge, big performances by your DP. A great statement, strong statement by your coach. I mean, the miss of Pizarro summed it up. The frustration level towards Pizarro when Phil Neville went nuts, which I've rarely seen, quite frankly. And he's clearly in the doghouse, without a doubt. And Phil Neville made a hard decision by not starting a DP. Let's be real honest, and making the right decision, quite frankly, for the team.
That's really, really well said. And let's talk a little bit more about Gonzalo Higuain's performance, because no doubt he was the man of the match yesterday. And we expect to see more of that. Like, we expect to see more braces, maybe a couple of hat tricks this season, because I think he's that quality of a player. What do you think was different for Gonzalo yesterday? Because there have been times, Coach, where he's looked, in previous games, certainly not yesterday, but in some games he looks frustrated. He's not getting the service. He'll drop back very deep, which is maybe something you don't want your number 9 doing. What was it that was clicking for him yesterday?
The absence of Pizarro. I mean, it's terrible to say that maybe, But when the ball moves quicker and when there's a better understanding, which he has obviously with Federico, but also with Morgan, and the ball moves properly and the spacing is all of a sudden right, and there's a rhythm where he can start playing a little bit higher up the pitch because he doesn't have to play make by far his best MLS performance to date. Not only scoring twice for the first time since joining the league, but looked more engaged from an emotional standpoint, from a physical standpoint. Not as much in terms of negative body language. We see very often with Pizarro that makes decisions that slows things down in that final third. So yes, and let's be real honest, going through a rough time due to the death of his mother. And maybe Wednesday's game was still one of those where he was still in a mourning phase, and he's talked about that very openly, quite frankly. So what a better way to remember your mom and giving your family something to cheer for both him and Federico, who made a huge difference through 70 minutes as a starter.
Overall, the team performance was good. The result was great, exactly what they were looking for, 3 points on the road. Just to nitpick a little bit, there was a 15 or 20-minute span in the second half, though, when Cincinnati were on the front foot and InterMiami were defending for their lives a little bit, and they did blow a 2-0 lead before retaking a 3-2 lead. So, I mean, how did you react to kind of the tough moments in that match? Was that more about Cincinnati's energy and momentum, or was there something amiss with InterMiami's approach?
Yeah, I think on both goals, I think Gregory on one goal, clearly, who was it? I think it was Sawgrass was on the right side. A little bit of a misunderstanding between Semi Khedira and Gonzalo Pires, actually. They fell asleep a little bit. I think on the set piece when Hagelin just came in, which is always tough, Donno, because all of a sudden you got to reassign your marking assignments when new players come on the field for the opposing team. They lost Hagelin a little bit and couldn't put a body on him in their zonal defense on set pieces, finds his seam, but then the reaction was absolutely sublime, obviously, and that's what you're looking for in a coach. I'm not happy about conceding both of those. You get McCarthy, who made 2 great saves, by the way, to keep his team in it. Also on that through ball, a little bit in no man's land. Could have done maybe a little bit better, but at the end of the day, on the road, in a hostile environment, for a team that opened their stadium, you knew there was something, a run in FC Cincinnati, and they scored 2, but the response was just sublime. And that's important for Phil Neville to get a win on the road. Now can that translate to another good win against Chicago next week, and then coming home in front of a full house? Donald, we can't wait on the 29th.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
DC, because they need to start picking up some points at home as well. They've been a very good road team, let's be real honest. Now, can they make the home crowd cheer as well? Tight race in the East, only 1 point behind number 1, which is New England at 9 points. Then you get 6 or 7 teams with 8 points. So all to play for, and right now you're in the playoffs at number 7, but only 1 point behind number 1. So you can't ask for a better scenario.
Yeah, it was such an important 3 points, and of course you and Chris
Huge.
and Fernando did an awesome job on the call. We really enjoyed it. So, Coach, thank you so much. And you alluded to it a little bit with Chicago coming up at the weekend. They're bad right now, so I'm cautiously optimistic about starting a little bit of a winning streak here. You feeling good about the game coming up? I think it's a Saturday game coming up this week.
Yeah, it is. At 6 o'clock, Donna. We'll be there. We will be there. You will be there at Big O as well. I don't know what bar you're going to be.
We'll be at Dangerous Minds. You should come by after the match. Yeah.
I'll tell you, I will come by again. Yep.
I love it. I love it. Well, have a wonderful call this week, Coach. We'll talk to you later. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Be good, Dono. Thank you for having me on.
Awesome stuff there from Thomas Rongen, and very well said. It was a massive, massive 3 points yesterday. We will wrap up the 3 o'clock hour when we come back. Why I'm especially bitter about the Tampa Bay Lightning. We'll get to that and more when we return. Hey, every Saturday at 11 a.m., soccer fans can connect with Austin Robillard and Red Card Radio. From the Premiership to the MLS, you can catch up with your favorite team, including our very own InterMiami CF. Listen to Red Card Radio every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. with Austin Robillard exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You're listening to the only sports station in South Florida that likes to take your calls. 888-441-4623. We connect with a South Florida sports fan because we are South Florida. Locally owned and operated. 888-441-4623. OnsideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk. You can connect with us at OnsideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnsideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Every Thursday, NBA fans can catch one of the best basketball shows in the country when Ethan Skolnick and Ira Winderman host Inside the Paint. Listen to two of the most knowledgeable and connected reporters in the business. Get year-round insight every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. with Inside the Paint on the home for hardcore basketball fans. OnsideRadio.com.
Big O for M&S Air Conditioning. You know, air quality in your home and business is more important than ever. That's why you've got to call M&S Air Conditioning and let them install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit. Folks, it attracts, captures, and destroys biological contaminants to improve your air quality. With stellar customer service, answering your call from 7:30 a.m. till 9 o'clock p.m. For more info on high-efficiency air filters and their preventative maintenance plans, visit M&S Air Conditioning at ac-florida.com.
Hey, it's Toast. Last year when I had PGT custom windows and doors installed in my house by B&T Windows and Doors, I knew about the hurricane protection. What I didn't know? The silence. Oh my goodness, my house is so quiet now. One of those cars goes tearing down the street with the crazy loud muffler. Yeah, I don't hear it anymore. It's unbelievable. I didn't realize how noisy my house was beforehand. You've got to get PGT custom windows and doors installed in your pad today. Call B&T Windows and Doors, 954-233-0126. That's 954-233-0126.
You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world.
When you're looking to add that extra style and protection for your home or business, visit A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie or Sunrise, where plantation shutters are a major part of our business, and they look great in any home. We have them in white, stained colors, and wood tones. We can even motorize your shutters like the one in the OnsideRadio.com studio. A Shade Above Window Fashions, 954-434-4774. That's 954-434-4774. Love the space you live in. A Shade Above Window Fashions.
You're listening to the only sports station in South Florida that likes to take your calls. 888-441-4623. We connect with a South Florida sports fan because we are South Florida. Locally owned and operated. 888-441-4623. OnsideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Huge thanks again to Thomas Rongen for joining us. 4 o'clock, we're going to talk with Antoine Staley, talk some football with him. 4:20, we're going to talk with Bellator fighter Valerie Loretta. She is awesome. I hope you guys tune in for that. She always brings it strong. I've had her on as a guest before. It's been way too long. I think it was before the pandemic. The last time I talked to Valerie, she's going to be joining us at 4:20, so stay tuned for that. George Richards from Florida Hockey Now at 5. I despise the Tampa Bay Lightning, and it's not just because I'm a Panthers fan, right? It's not just because the Sunshine State rivalry. Oh, as a Panthers fan, I got to hate the cross-state rival. The Tampa Bay Lightning are a crooked, morally bankrupt franchise. And the NHL are enabling them. Okay? The NHL are enabling them. And I'm upset about the National Hockey League as well. The National Hockey League today, they suspended Florida's Sam Bennett for the next game because of a hit that he laid last night. Never mind the fact that Tampa Bay had actually worse hits done. They should have had at least one player suspended. But the Tampa Bay Lightning, guys, like, honestly, this series should not even be happening. Tampa Bay should be disqualified from competition. They should lose the series by forfeit. The Tampa Bay Lightning are $17 million over the salary cap. But they're allowed to field or to, I guess, to put on the ice Steven Stamkos and Nikita Kucherov, even though they're over the cap, because the NHL has this stupid rule where there's no salary cap for the playoffs. So this is a weird workaround. The Tampa Bay Lightning, morally bankrupt, crooked franchise, have found a way to circumvent the NHL's rules. This season, they stashed Kucherov, who at one point was really hurt, but he's been fine for 2 months. But they stashed him on this long-term injury report where he doesn't count against the cap. Same thing with Stamkos. And then they can just trot these guys out there for the playoffs, despite the fact that they put them $17 million over the cap because the NHL has this stupid rule that the salary cap only counts for the regular season and not for the playoffs. It's an absolute joke. And okay, Nikita Kucherov scored twice last night, and I see these morally bankrupt Tampa Bay Lightning fans who have the audacity to say things like, oh my God, it's so amazing. Oh, he just comes back from injury and he scores twice. There's no rust whatsoever. Yeah, no shit, there's no rust. The guy's been completely healthy for 2 months. The guy's been skating with the team for the past 2 months. He's fine. He's absolutely fine, and he's one of the best players in the world, and you got to stash his salary on the long-term injury report so that you wouldn't be over the salary cap, and then you just trot him out there in the playoffs, and you get an advantage with Stamkos and Kucherov. It's absolutely disgusting. And again, like I don't even know where to direct my anger, because as angry as I am about the sleazy Tampa Bay Lightning, technically what they're doing is within the rules. I've never seen the rule flaunted this badly. And again, these sad sack, sorry, sleazy Lightning fans, because I've been ranting about this on Twitter, and I'm angering all 11 Tampa Bay fans who happen to have found me on social media, and they're like all crying because, oh, bro, the Chicago Blackhawks did the same thing in 2015, and they beat us in the Stanley Cup Final. They should be disqualified too. Well, okay, that season it was Patrick Kane who they had on the LTIR, but he had played 61 games that year. That wasn't nearly as egregious as what they did with Kucherov. And okay, fine. If you want to go down that logic, Tampa Bay fan, you crying weasels, if you want to go down that road where you say that, oh, well, by your logic, Donno, we should be awarded the 2015 Stanley Cup because the Chicago Blackhawks circumvented the salary cap, fine, what do I care? Take the 2015 Stanley Cup, but you have to drop out of this playoffs this year, right? Because, okay, if you were wronged in 2015, go have that cup, celebrate, have some parade down Ybor City or whatever the hell loser street you guys have over there, and then drop out of these playoffs because you're cheating. You're clearly cheating. Oh, man. So, yeah, I'm reading this piece about it this morning. Nikita Kucherov has a $9 million cap hit as one of the NHL's best players. He had hip surgery and sat out the entire year, but he's been skating for 2 months, and he just happened to magically recover for the first game of the playoffs where there's no salary cap. What an amazing coincidence. All of a sudden, playoffs start. Oh, he's fine. Nikita Kucherov, he's doing great. Stamkos missed the final 18 games. In the NHL, you can put players on the long-term injured reserve, that's the LTIR, and then most of their contracts don't count against the cap, allowing you to sign or trade for other players. They're $17 million over the salary cap, and they were able to circumvent that because you were stashing players on this LTIR who are magically recovered to play in the playoffs. Should not count. Should not count. Now, with that said, I still want to kick their asses on the ice. if Tampa Bay, if they weren't morally bankrupt, they would cut players that put them over the cap, or they would forfeit this round of the playoffs. But they're too morally bankrupt to do that. With that said, I want to kick their asses the old-fashioned way, on the ice. If the NHL wants to suspend Sam Bennett, put us at even more of a disadvantage. They should be suspending Nikita Kucherov for not being eligible to play. They're suspending Sam Bennett for a hit? It's absolutely ridiculous. Beat them on the ice. Make these guys pay. Make these losers pay. Let's teach our children that cheaters don't prosper. How about that? All right, we'll talk some football with Antoine Staley. Antoine Staley from the Tallahassee Democrat will join us next here on Onside Radio. Hey, Florida Panthers fans, by the way, have a place to call home every Saturday morning as Cats insider David Dwork hosts Chirping the Cats Radio every Saturday at 10 a.m. Onside Radio is committed to all sports, and Panthers fans can now connect every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. with Dwork on the home for Panthers fans worldwide, onsideradio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You're listening to the home of InterMiami CF.
His strike is a decent one. It's fired into the top right corner. Gonzalo Higuain opens his account for InterMiami.
OnsideRadio.com, where the passion for La Rosa Negra runs deep.
InterMiami CF fans, join us at our new home this season for all away games as we broadcast live at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company, 1901 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach. Join Big O and Alex Donno for the live pregame, halftime, and postgame shows while we watch the games. Enjoy meticulously brewed beer on site, delicious artisanal pizzas, live music, and giveaways. So, the new home for all InterMiami road games is at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company at the Pompano City Mall, where they'll feature all the InterMiami games. Follow them on Twitter at Dangerous Minds B and Facebook and Instagram at Dangerous Minds Brewing, and visit them at dangerousmindsbrewing.com.
When you're looking for curtains and blinds to create a space of your own, look no further than Bandalux. Bandalux can tailor your space to your needs. Create the atmosphere and ambiance you desire. We invite you to discover it at Bandalux.com. Explore our new solar control systems, range of sustainable fabrics, and energy-efficient solutions that can improve your well-being and quality of life. Witness Bandalux Beauty. Go to Bandalux.com or follow them on Instagram at Bandalux_official. For a personal experience, A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie and Sunrise is an official Bandalux partner.
When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than the roof above the people you love. At Onside Radio, we recommend Chase Roofing and Contracting. At chaseroofing.com, they care about the customer. Chase Roofing provides reliable roof installation and repair without the destruction to our environment. Chase Roofing is powered by Tamara, who is owner and operated for 18 years. chaseroofing.com is Google top rated and a AAA standing with the Better Business Bureau. Open 24/7. Call them today. Trust chaseroofing.com to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family. If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your InterMiami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where InterMiami and all Miami sports fans shop.
You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno.
It's all yours. Just keep it right here.
You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Man, I was ranting so hard about the cheating salary cap circumventing Tampa Bay Lightning that I actually got a little lightheaded. Alex, why did you let me get that worked up, man? I haven't had enough water
that's
today.
That's what the people want to hear.
I'm not hydrated enough to be ranting like that.
You need too much coffee?
Actually, I don't think I had enough coffee
Maybe
today.
that's what. Imagine if you had a lot of coffee in your system. Oh, your blood would be boiling.
I only had 2 coffees this morning. I'm usually at 3 or 4 by this point. But
Okay.
We'll power through.
Yes, sir.
Human coffee for me because this guy gives me energy. I love our good friend Antoine Staley, who joins us here, talk a little football on Onside Radio. And Antoine, I saw you caught a little bit of that Panthers Lightning game last night. That was a wild game. I'm just upset because the Tampa Bay Lightning are $17 million over the salary cap because they found some loophole where they could stash players on the injured reserve. So I'm angry about that. But the actual game last night, despite the Panthers' loss, was incredible. What'd you think?
Yeah, it was. It was a tough way to lose for the Panthers. As you know, I did cover the Panthers for a little bit too as well. So it's great to see them doing really well, and I'm really happy that they're in a good place right now. And that's going to be a hell of a series. I think it's going to go 7 games, and hopefully the Panthers can come out on top. But yeah, that was definitely a tough way, especially with that pass and the shot just on the breakaway. Yeah, it was definitely tough. But such a physical battle that was last night.
Yeah, and that was just game 1. Like it's only going to get more physical as we go. Like I'm kind of worried I can see why they're suspending guys, I guess, because they're worried about player safety at this point. Although I thought if a Panther was suspended, at least one Lightning player could have been as well. But I digress. I noticed a trend, Antoine, in the NFL. Ian Rappaport tweeted that the Dolphins had over 70 players at OTAs today. I saw the Broncos had about 70 at theirs over the weekend, even though the NFLPA had been really encouraging players in recent weeks to boycott. And listen, I'm all for player power to an extent, but I also, Antoine, I don't like it when I feel like the union is using players as pawns to try and renegotiate because we saw what happened to Juwan James, and it's like I thought he kind of got screwed over by the union because this guy wasn't covered because he got injured while working out on his own away from the facility. That wouldn't have happened if he was at the facility. So do you feel like what happened to Juwan James now probably has a lot to do with why teams are having perfect or near perfect attendance all of a sudden?
Absolutely. I mean, I think you're going to have rookies that are going to show up anyway and young guys that were just signed because they want to make a statement. They want to make some noise. They want to be on the coach's good side by showing them they're coming to camp. So a lot of these camp guys that are not going to be on the roster or that's borderline, then they're going to show up anyway. But yeah, I think it definitely opened some eyes there. And look, a lot of people want to blame the Broncos. I don't blame them at all. They just took advantage of the rule that was in place. I mean, that's just kind of what it boiled down to. And, they found out, they understood that they were in a bad contract situation with Juwan James. God bless him. I mean, I like I said, I covered, you did too when he was down in Miami.
Great guy.
Such a nice guy. Tremendous. I mean, the Broncos gave him that huge deal. I was like, bless him, man. I mean, anytime you can get a deal like that, I thought it was overpaid, but he set his family up for life, but at the same time, the Broncos probably realized, we had a way we can get up under this, especially with him getting hurt. We're going to do that. So, yeah, I think it's all the union's fault on this. It's not the Broncos' fault. It's definitely the union for, agreeing to the deal and also telling him to stay away. So now he looks bad, and now the Broncos look bad, and now they're going to try to settle this thing out of court. But, yeah, I totally blame the union on this one.
Yeah, same here. And listen, and I'm not, if people always want to judge us for certain things we say. I'm not anti-union in any way. I'm pro-union, but I can kind of see the other side of it on this one. Something else I wanted to ask you about, Antoine. I was looking at some Vegas odds over the weekend, and I noticed that according to the odds makers, it's actually more likely that Aaron Rodgers plays somewhere else other than Green Bay next year. That's actually the slight betting favorite is this. He suits up for, basically they're taking the field over the Green Bay Packers. How do you see it playing out with Green Bay? Because I think it's worth noting that if there's anybody on this planet who's really good at holding a grudge, it's Aaron Rodgers. The guy doesn't talk to his own mother. So I'm not sure if the Packers can actually find a way to sort it out with this dude. Do you think he plays for them again?
I think he does. I think at some point, I just have a hard time believing he's going to walk away completely. I think his time in Green Bay is coming to an end. One way or the other, whether he plays this year or not, he's coming to it. The day you took Jordan Love and you traded up to get him with the Dolphins, crazy enough, you traded with him, and then you said to him and everybody else that, okay, he's going to play eventually. So I don't want to hear about talk about, this love for Aaron Rodgers and all this and that, but you traded up to get a quarterback. So, yeah, at some point, he's been through this. He was on the other side of this with Brett Favre. So he understands the game. He doesn't want to go through the entire situation, this charade, whereas it's going to be year after year when Jordan Love's going to have to play at some point because you need to find out what you had in the first-round pick. So rather he wants to leave on his own terms, and I don't blame him. So I think he wants to leave now. I think Green Bay is going to stand firm, and probably they move on after the season. But, yeah, I think ultimately he comes back just maybe for one more year, and then Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers and probably Devontae Adams, who's a free agent after the season, too, all move on.
Now, if Aaron moves on, whether it be this year or even the year after, what team do you think would be the best fit for him? And obviously, wherever he goes, he wants to win right away because he's in his late 30s. Like, what do you think would be the best option for him?
I think you look at Denver. I'm not saying Denver's going to be a Super Bowl contender with them, but they've done this before, obviously with Peyton Manning and him taking over for Tim Tebow and coming in and making that team. They took that team from a mid-tier team that barely made the playoffs under Tebow to a Super Bowl contender. And I think that's kind of what Aaron Rodgers could do for that team. They have skill position players there already in place with Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamlin, Noah Fant there at the tight end position. You end up taking Devontae Williams from North Carolina, and they got a really sound defense. Vince Fangio has done a tremendous job there. So I think it's more or less about, can they get the quarterback play that they've been long searching for. I know they got Teddy Bridgewater from the Panthers, but I don't know if that's a long-term solution. Drew Lock, it remains to be seen if he can be that guy. But anytime you can get a guy like Aaron Rodgers who could have 2 or 3 good years left in him, I think he could. That'd be fun watching those two, him and Patrick Mahomes, battle it out for the division and also maybe the AFC for the next few years.
You cover ACC football now, covering Florida State, and a lot of the times I've had you on recently, it's been during the college off season, and there's usually a lot more NFL going on. But I am starting to get a little bit hyped up for the season coming up, Antoine. And if you go to most of the media predictions, obviously it's very easy to predict who wins the ACC. Clemson is going to keep getting those nods. I think even losing Trevor Lawrence, I think DJ Uiagalelei is really good. They're still the team to beat. Then most people would have North Carolina edging out Miami to win the Coastal, Miami being a little bit behind them. Do you kind of agree with the way that people look at the top 3? And also, I'll ask you as a bonus question, where could you see Florida State finishing? How much better do you think they could get this year?
I think the top 2 are pretty set. I think Clemson and North Carolina in that. Well, I'll put Clemson just because they're the team to beat, and they have been. But I don't think it's a slam dunk. I think North Carolina, depending on how much of a maturation Sam Howell can continue to make, and we saw it from his freshman to his sophomore year, and I think he's going to be the number 1 quarterback taken in the 22 draft. So, yeah, I think he continues to go the way that I think he does. I mean, they got a shot. They got a shot to beat Clemson in a one-game situation for the ACC championship. So I wouldn't necessarily rule it out. As far as Miami, I need to continue to see more, kind of maturation really on both sides of the ball. The Eric King was really a godsend for them last year. I don't know where they would have been without him. If he can come back healthy, obviously, I don't count the Alabama game because I'm just going to throw that out the window. It doesn't matter.
Huge
anyway,
Miami W, Antoine.
Anyway.
Start believing. Miami gets it. I wish I really believed that.
But I think look at their schedule. They can win 9 games. Maybe 10, depending on what might happen. I think the North Carolina game is going to be tricky, especially, you go into Chapel Hill. And, I don't want to bring down Canes fans, but we kind of understand what happened the last time they went there. But, yeah. I think Miami could finish 3rd and 4th and definitely in the ACC. As far as Florida State, I think they're in a good place, especially with the transfers that they got in. Mackenzie Milton, it's going to be interesting to see if he's the starter. I believe he will be. Jermaine Johnson, from Georgia. Really good pass rusher, something they've been dying for since Brian Burns was there. I think they could finish with 6 wins, maybe 7, depending on what happens. If they can pull off an upset with maybe against an NC State or Miami or somebody like that. But, yeah, I think 6 wins is probably a good spot for Florida State next year.
Now, Antoine, you're one of my go-to sources on barbecue because, you're from the Carolinas. You're one of the experts that I lean on. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw you recently on Twitter reacting to some goofy list that ranked Miami as one of the best barbecue cities. Now, I'm proud Miami born and bred, and obviously I can pump up our Cuban food. Like, there's certain things we do really well in Miami. I am under no illusions that Miami is a great barbecue town. Like, can you explain how some publication would actually rank Miami, and you've, of course, lived here before, how a publication can rank Miami as one of the best barbecue cities?
Well, they also had Newark, New Jersey on there, too.
What?
So you kind of take that for whatever it's worth. But I think what somebody pointed out to me was, like, if they were talking about Cuban barbecue, like a actual, which I think is different than actual Southern type barbecue.
Yeah, that would be like calling
yeah,
Korean barbecue like regular barbecue. It's not the same.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. That's why I was like, it's not really the same. Although I do like that form of cooking out and putting the pig on the grill and all that. I've tried that with some Cuban friends of mine. That's great. That's tremendous. But I don't consider it the same thing as like North Carolina barbecue or Tennessee barbecue or Kansas City or Texas or things like that. So, or South Carolina for that matter. I think it's a little different. But, yeah, I tried all the barbecue places down there. Other than, I think Georgia Pig is really good in Fort Lauderdale, which is close from the Dolphins facility. But outside of that, I really hadn't found too many good barbecue places around there.
Now, before that, you mentioned a lot of, like, the areas of the country that really specialize in barbecue. Now, try not to be biased because I know you're a Carolina guy, but objectively, because, you know, you've had barbecue all over the country, what do you think is the best barbecue town or the best barbecue area in America?
I'm going to keep it to you straight because that's usually what I always do.
Yeah.
I think Memphis barbecue is the best I've had.
I got to try that. I haven't been.
it.
I've had Carolina. I've had Texas barbecue. I've never had it in Memphis, and I've never had Kansas City barbecue either. I've never been to that part of the country.
Kansas City is really good too. I like Memphis because it's like a dry rub, but it's kind of really sweet. But it's just absolutely amazing. And also the pulled pork is too as well. Even Nashville barbecue is really good too. Well, you can find all different types of good food in Nashville, but Memphis to me, I think that would be my number one. And then I would have Texas too, just simply because I think they specialize in a lot of different aspects, whether it be ribs or brisket and all that types of stuff. And then I have North Carolina number 3. That would be my third favorite because North Carolina, it's two different types of North Carolina barbecue. You got your Eastern barbecue, which is more of a kind of like a vinegar type of deal, and then you got your Western barbecue, which is more of a red slaw with ketchup, and it's hot sauce too, which is really good too. So they're both really good, but it's definitely I would have that third on my list.
Nice. Yeah, all I can remember is when I was in Texas, I had some barbecue outside Dallas. I didn't want to leave. Like I'm I don't even really love Texas that much, but I thought, hey, maybe I'm a Texan now. Maybe I'm just gonna stay here. It was that good, and it was brisket that I had there, and it was like, oh my God, I may not be able to leave this state. I might live here now.
Yeah, it's hard to find good bad barbecue in Texas, especially in the major cities.
Well, this is excellent stuff by you as always, man. Antoine Staley. He is a must-follow on Twitter. Just right there, his name, Antoine Staley. Check out his work, Tallahassee.com and the Tallahassee Democrat, and he's always going to keep you guys entertained and informed on football. Antoine, thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your week coming up.
You too, Donald. Take care.
Excellent, as always, by Antoine. And when we come back, I'm really looking forward to this woman has been preparing for her upcoming fight. She's nice enough to join us here a few days before that fight happens. Valerie Loretta is going to join us. She's South Florida, born and bred. She'll be repping the 305 at Bellator 259. So Valerie's going to join us next. Hey, every Thursday night from 7 to 9 p.m., catch Fight Night with James Walker and me. It's the show dedicated to combat sports, from UFC to boxing to bare-knuckle brawling. We provide combat sports fans the insight and interviews they crave. Tune in every Thursday night from 7 to 9 p.m. for Fight Night with Alex Donno and James Walker. Search and subscribe to the podcast by searching Fight Night on the home for combat sports, OnSideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You can connect with us at OnSideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnSideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. If you missed Onside Zone with Big O, you missed.
Big O, Tito is not allowed in the Boom Boom Room. Never seen Smokey and the Bandit. Never seen Top Gun. What's the matter with these kids? Look at that. Now you can't hang out with Salma, Paige, Sophia. See, now you can't hang out with the ladies because you have not seen Top Gun.
Yeah, I would just hope that, like I said, the Boom Boom Room is sanitized. I would hope.
Well, I don't know, but did you hear about the 81-person orgy?
No.
What is wrong with you?
The Onside Zone with Big O, only on OnsideRadio.com.
InterMiami CF fans, join us at our new home this season for all away games as we broadcast live at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company, 1901 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach. Join Big O and Alex Donno for the live pregame, halftime, and postgame shows while we watch the games. Enjoy meticulously brewed beer on site, delicious artisanal pizzas, live music, and giveaways. So, the new home for all InterMiami road games is at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company at the Pompano City Mall, where they'll feature all the InterMiami games. Follow them on Twitter at Dangerous Minds B and Facebook and Instagram at Dangerous Minds Brewing, and visit them at dangerousmindsbrewing.com.
Hey Panthers fans, Dave Dwart here with some awesome news. Every Saturday, I'm going to bring you the latest on everything to do with the Florida Panthers with Chirping the Cats Radio. Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m., we'll dive into the state of the team, recap games, and hear from past and present Panthers players, and plenty of other great hockey guests too. Got questions about the Panthers? Call or text the show and we'll break it down. Don't miss Chirping the Cats Radio, Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m. only on OnsideRadio.com.
Big O for M&S Air Conditioning. You know, air quality in your home and business is more important than ever. That's why you've got to call M&S Air Conditioning and let them install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit. Folks, it attracts, captures, and destroys biological contaminants to improve your air quality. With stellar customer service, answering your call from 7:30 a.m. till 9 o'clock p.m. For more info on high-efficiency air filters and their preventative maintenance plans, visit M&S Air Conditioning at ac-florida.com.
Fish fans, time to reel in the latest news in baseball with OnsideRadio.com's Marlins Minute. Here's Alex Aguirre.
After dropping their first two games against the world champion LA Dodgers, the Marlins were able to salvage the last game of their series yesterday with a 3-2 win. The offense was carried with one swing of the bat by Adam Duvall, who connected for a 3-run blast in the fifth inning, and on defense, Duvall saved the run from scoring by throwing out Mookie Betts at the plate. Jazz Chisholm made his return to the lineup from a minor leg injury and did not miss a beat, going 2 for 5 in the leadoff spot. Pablo Lopez finally got his first win of the season, getting just enough run support and going 5 strong innings, allowing 2 runs and striking out 3. And former Dodger, now Marlins closer Yimi Garcia picked up his 7th save of the season. Miami has a day off today, traveling to Philadelphia to wrap up their 11-day, 10-game road trip against the Phillies, who are currently second in the division. First pitch is tomorrow night at 7:05 p.m. Let's go fish.
Keep up with the latest on the Miami Marlins by subscribing on most platforms by searching Onside Radio.
ADHD. It's the child who can't pay attention or sit still in school, right? The answer may be yes. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, can be complicated and it can last a lifetime. Living with a condition can sometimes be a challenge. It may take years to accept a formal diagnosis, and it's not always easy to find the right treatment plan. Did you know that up to 75% of children and adolescents with ADHD have at least one additional mental health condition that also requires a comprehensive approach to treatment? ADHD guidelines were recently updated to reflect the need to screen for associated disorders. Be sure to talk with your child's doctor about proper screening and visit moretoadhd.com for additional information. That's moretoadhd.com. This message has been brought to you in partnership with ADA, ACO, and CHAD.
Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
My friends, Bellator 259 this Friday is going to be absolutely awesome. and we have the pleasure here of being joined by one of the combatants on that card, South Florida born and bred, one of the most awesome fighters you will find. Valerie Loretta is with us. Valerie, first of all, thank you so much for taking some time just a few days away from the fight. Can't tell you how much that means. How you doing?
Hi, no, thank you for having me. That means everything to me. Thanks for the support and for announcing my fight on Friday. I'm good. I'm here in the Mohegan, just quarantining in the room.
Nice. So how does that still work with the protocol? Like, how many days do you have to be there quarantining?
It's just Sunday, Monday, but we got here late last night, so just one day. Things are changing, things are starting to open up and things like that. And honestly, I think I'm going to make history in the last no fans Bellator fight card ever.
Well, there you go. And it's good to know that it's the last no fans because, I mean, for a fighter like yourself, feed off the crowd. You're very popular in Bellator, so I can't wait till you can have like a full cheering section in the near future. And I'm so happy to talk to you again. I've had you on a show before, but this was obvious before the pandemic started. It's been so great to see your continued success and the way that you really kind of represent and carry South Florida. And listen, it's no secret, Valerie. I don't think anyone's surprised to see you out there dominating. Just tell us a little bit about your story, right? Both your parents into martial arts. You have siblings who are into it. Like, there was no way you could have avoided this, right? You were going to be a fighter.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was going to be a fighter before I was born, whether I was a boy or a girl. Boys and 3 girls, but I came out the fighter and the boy of the family,
That is so cool. So you're taking on Hannah Guy this weekend, this Friday at Bellator 259. What can you tell us about your opponent and what sort of fight are you expecting?
I know she's tough. I know she's from Mississippi. I know she has more fights than me. I know we're going to put on a good show. And, I expect her to come forward, try to take me down like every other fighter I'm going to have for the rest of my career.
So why is it like every fighter try to take you down? Like, do they? And because you come from a Taekwondo background, but you do fine at dealing with takedowns. So do you think that other fighters come in thinking, oh, I'm going to be able to take Valerie down and find success? It obviously hasn't worked, but do you think that's something that fighters try to game plan against you?
Yeah, everyone thinks I'm just going to get taken down and submitted, but I train in the best camp in the world. I would never let that happen. They will never let that happen. I've seen too many things, seen too many submissions. I've defended everything you could imagine, and I'm just prepared on another level, and I think people are going to keep, underestimating me until I prove them otherwise.
Well, and I know you're going to do that this coming weekend. So tell me a little bit more about some of the preparations you've gone through and the weight cut and everything. Now, I can just go by the way you sound, Valerie, because a lot of times I'll talk to a fighter on fight week, and I can kind of tell by the tone of their voice that the weight cut is hitting them really hard. You don't sound to be very fazed by it, so I'm guessing that's going pretty well for you.
Yeah, honestly, if there's anyone in the world, if I could make my weight, anyone could make their weight, I could get heavy, to be honest. I come from Cuban heritage, I have big legs, and I could get heavy. I get up to 150, 155, and right now I'm weighing 132. I have to be 126 on Thursday, so I'm at a perfect weight, 6 pounds over. But if there's something about me is that when I sign that contract, it's on, I'm a whole other animal. There's a whole other discipline that comes out of me because it's my job to be a nutritionist. It's my job to make that weight, and it's my job to be professional because Bellator gave me an opportunity to fight, and there's so many other fighters who would be wanting to fight right now during the quarantine, So I don't take it lightly. I don't take it for granted. My business and my job for me, I take it personally, and I'm going to execute and be as professional as I can, and that's the way I know that everything is being taken care of and going the right way, Fight week for me has to look a certain way. I have to leave Miami a certain way. I have to have my outfits a certain way. I have to have my fight clothes a certain way, and I have to have my sister here with me, and my coaches have to be here, and just everything's gone right again. Thankful to God, and this is my 3rd fight here in the Mohegan. Every time I come here is a knockout, so God willing, I'm going to come out with another one.
Well said. Tell me about the relationship you have in the fight game with your sister. I see her in your corner. I saw you celebrating together your last win. How important is it to have her there?
Yeah, I mean, you have to remember that my family dynamic is, it's just the heart of our family was taekwondo, right? So my sister has also been my training partner since I was, she's 2.5 years older than me. So since we were little, we've been training together our whole life. And she's like, even though she's not an MMA fighter, like she knows me as a fighter and as a person better than anyone else. Like we have grown to this together. Like everything I do, I want her to come up with me. Everything I do is for me and my family and our legacy and our name and our blood, right? That just having my sister here, like she helps me cut the rest of the weight. Today she brought bath bombs, so we're doing bath bombs since we're quarantining. We're doing face masks. I bought the J-Lo like a face mask, one for now, one for after the fight, after I'm bruised up, you know. We watch our shows. We stretch. I learn TikToks. Like we have our little things that we do that just keeps my mind happy. My mind's like free from fighting and just have a good time. Because at the end of the day, we're young. I'm young. I'm 22. She's turning 21 now. You know, we have our whole lives ahead of us, and it's just important to enjoy these moments in our life that we're never going to get back.
And something I know you understand, you know, being a successful prize fighter this day and age, it's not only about being a great athlete and training diligently, it's also about self-promotion. Like every fighter really is a business. Like you are the CEO of your own business. And I see how difficult it can be for some fighters to manage all of that, because sometimes the fighters who are the best on social media are not that great in the cage. Like in your case, you seem to be doing an awesome job with all of those aspects. You're great with your fans. You're active on social. You're also going out there and kicking ass. Like how much joy do you take, Valerie, on being able to connect with so many people? Because I mean, your rise to success, which we're witnessing now, is not only about winning fights, which you're doing, but it's also about making impressions and becoming more popular. And you're checking off all those boxes right now. How good does that feel?
I don't, you know, something about me, and I think this is the reason that I've had so much success in following so early into my career, is that everything I do is organically. Like, I don't do anything for social media. I do things for myself and then post them on social media. I don't know if that makes sense. So yeah. I think that people, they really understand that this is who I am. You know, I'm not just a girl who's trying to market herself in the sport. Like, since I was little, I was fighting and I was dancing and doing photo shoots and filming shows, you know, like this is who I am. And I have a lot of talents and passions that come with me. And I just like to show them all. And I like being myself. I've never let anybody tell me who I am or who I'm not. You know, why would I do that now after I've worked so hard to get here? And let me tell you, it doesn't get easier. Every fight is harder. There's more critics. There's more this and that, but for all those critics, I have 200,000 people more who love me, you know, and that's what I have to keep. Like, another thing that I've learned to do is just when I post on social media, get out of it. Don't look at anything. I post on Twitter, get out of it. I don't look at anything. It keeps me very focused. It keeps me true to myself. It keeps me away from evil eyes and people who are jealous and envious of me and don't want to see me doing well in a male-dominated industry. And I'm just staying true to myself, doing as much as I can in order to grow. But I'm not going to lie, like I train 2 times a day very intensely. The sport is very hard on the woman's body. Sometimes I go home and I just want to sleep and I don't want to do any content. I don't want to work. I don't want to do my hair pretty. Like, I don't want to get my eyelashes done. It's hard, but I always find a way to rise. And like, if I give myself 2 days down, it's okay, reset. And, you know, tomorrow you're going to go back, you're going to spar, you're going to go home, you're going to shower, you're going to blow dry hair, and you're going to take pretty pictures, and you're going to try on your new outfits from Pretty Little Things or things like that. And really, that's the way I roll. I do things for myself. I do things because I love beauty and I love fashion and I love glamour, and I'm just trying to cross that over into mixed martial arts.
That's great. I respect your hard work, and I respect the fact that you're always being yourself. That's really, really cool. And I encourage everyone to follow Valerie and, of course, to watch her fighting this weekend. Bellator 259 on Friday night. Valerie Loretta, South Florida's own, is taking on Hannah Guy. Valerie, thank you so much. Enjoy the little quarantining you have left, and have an amazing fight week, and I look forward to watching you Friday.
Thank you so much, and thank you for supporting me and believing in me.
Always. That was really awesome. That was really great. All right, we'll continue the 4 o'clock hour when we come back here on Onside Radio. So, guys, make sure you follow Valerie Loretta and watch her fight this weekend. It's going to be really, really good. Hey, if you want to text us, 844-416-8123 is the number. That's 844-416-8123. Want to react to the Dolphins' win total, according to BetMGM in Vegas, how I feel about it. Honestly, I feel pretty strongly about this in one direction or another. We'll talk about what the expectations are for Brian Flores' team when we return here on Onside Radio. Hey, InterMiami CF fans, join us for every road game as we broadcast live from Dangerous Minds Brewing Company, 1901 North Federal Highway in Pompano. Join Big O and myself. Enjoy delicious food and incredible house drafts and giveaways. InterMiami CF fans, your new home for every road game is Dangerous Minds Brewing Company in Pompano. Follow them on Twitter at Dangerous Minds B and Instagram at Dangerous Minds Brewing.
We'll be right back to the man of the match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You can connect with us at OnsideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnsideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than the roof above the people you love. At Onside Radio, we recommend Chase Roofing and Contracting. At chaseroofing.com, they care about the customer. Chase Roofing provides reliable roof installation and repair without the destruction to our environment. Chase Roofing is powered by Tamara, who is owner and operated for 18 years. chaseroofing.com is Google top rated and a AAA standing with the Better Business Bureau. Open 24/7. Call them today. Trust chaseroofing.com to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family. If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your InterMiami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where InterMiami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Now that it's springtime, it's only getting hotter here in South Florida. Make sure your AC in your home or business is running smoothly by investing in a preventative maintenance plan from M&S Air Conditioning. And M&S is a Mitsubishi Diamond Elite contractor. When you purchase a new Mitsubishi electric mini split system, you'll get a 12-year warranty. Or install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit that captures and destroys biological contaminants to improve air quality. M&S Air Conditioning have been providing prompt, honest, and reliable service for over 30 years. Schedule service or call to get more info on our preventative maintenance plans. Call 954-421-3680 or visit ac-florida.com.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnsideRadio.com sports update.
InterMiami beat FC in Cincinnati 3-2, getting a brace from Gonzalo Higuain, and a goal from Breck Shea. Inter Miami's next match is away at Chicago Fire FC Saturday night at 6 p.m. Florida Panthers lose Game 1 of their NHL playoff series to the Tampa Bay Lightning 5-4. Jonathan Huberdeau had a goal and 2 assists, but Braden Point had 2 late goals in the winner with 1:14 left in the game. Game 2 tomorrow night. Puck drops at 8 p.m. The Miami Heat beat the Detroit Pistons for their season finale yesterday 120-107. Precious Achiuwa scored a career-high 23 points, and Max Strus added 20 for the Heat. They will end up with the 6th seed and start the playoffs against the Milwaukee Bucks, who beat the Heat on Saturday night 122-108. Marlins lost 2 of 3 over the weekend after a 3-2 win yesterday. Not a bad day at the office for Adam Duvall, as he had a 3-run homer and threw out Mookie Betts at the plate. Marlins are 18-22 on the year and end their road trip against the Philadelphia Phillies tomorrow night. You're listening to South Florida's only locally owned sports talk station. Coming up is more Man of the Match with Alex Donno right here at OnSideRadio.com.
Riddle me this. With all this sizzling meat and crunchy veggies nestled between toasty flatbread, who should get credit for Papa John's new papadilla? The person who invented pizza or the person who invented folding? Well, whoever it is, a tip of the tongue hat to you, sir or madam. Get a new papadilla, 4 flavors, just $6 each. Better ingredients, better pizza, better than a sandwich. Papa John's.
My daughter Brinley is here at St. Jude. Coming here was literally life or death, and it was so scary. But St. Jude is fighting for one goal, like this one mission, life. And that gave us hope. We haven't received a single bill from St. Jude, so I really can just focus on what's best for Brinley.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah, I'm not that big on betting season futures because I'm so impatient. I don't like to wait several months to win money. Or lose money for that matter, but I do think there's an opportunity here with the Miami Dolphins win total. According to BetMGM, the Dolphins' expected win total is set at 9 this coming year. 9. Remember, there's an extra game this year. 17-game regular season. This team won 10 games a year ago. I know some of the Tua haters would probably argue either that the Dolphins overachieved last year or that they only won that many games because Fitzpatrick was there, and now that Fitz is gone, you don't have your closer at quarterback. I see no reason why, with an extra game on the schedule, and the Dolphins actually have according to the stats, one of the easier schedules in the NFL. I see no reason why you don't at least win as many games as you won last year now with a 17-game schedule. I think the Dolphins win 10 or 11 games this year, and they're right in the playoff fight. I think maybe the Dolphins sneak into the playoffs. It's really, I think getting into the playoffs or not is really going to depend on, I think, how well you stack up with New England this year. How much better is New England going to get from the brutal year they had last season? I don't think anyone's going to argue that the Buffalo Bills are going to win the AFC East. They're the paper tigers there. You know, that they should be the team that wins that division for the second straight year. So the dogfight that the Dolphins have, where on paper I think they're still at least a little bit better than the New England Patriots, but how the Dolphins square up against the Pats this year could have a lot to do with whether we make the playoffs or not. But no, I think the Dolphins, if you can get the odds of over under 9 wins, whether it's 9 or 9.5, it doesn't really make any difference. I mean, that the difference would be if you get the number of a straight 9, you could push and get your money back, where if it's 9.5, you can't push. I think they're going to win 10 or 11 games this year. I feel very strongly about it, right? I mean, you've got some tough ones in that early stretch, okay? And we heard our guy Colin Cowherd a couple weeks ago basically saying that, you know, Tua is going to be humiliated during the first 5 games, and the Dolphins are going to get shot straight to hell in those first 5. But no, I mean, you've got New England week 1, Buffalo week 2, the Vegas Raiders week 3, Indianapolis Colts week 4. I guess I should say where these games are. Pats game is on the road. First Bills game at home. Raiders game in Vegas. Colts game at home. And then you got the Buccaneers on the road. Now, if you can come out of that first game, 5-game stretch to start the year, if you can come out of that 3-2, you're in excellent shape. Like, if the Dolphins come out of that opening 5-game stretch 3-2 or better, then I'm starting to get some serious playoff ambitions. If you come out of that stretch 3-2, 4-1, forget about it. 4-1, I'm thinking about booking my hotel for the Super Bowl. Where's the Super Bowl at next year? San Francisco? Is that where it is? I know that the year after that. Or Los Angeles, I think it is. Yeah, I think it's Los Angeles this coming year. The year after that, it's in Arizona. Because I always hear Big O talk about that he's already, basically he's planning almost 2 years in advance to go to the Super Bowl in Arizona because that's the year that the Dolphins are going to be in the Super Bowl, according to his words. And his mouth to God's ears. I hope he's 1,000% right about that. But I hope we get there this year in Los Angeles as well. But, yeah, I mean, if you can come out of that opening stretch 4-1 or better, I think you're in tremendous shape, and even if you come out of it 2-3, it's not a catastrophe. I think the Dolphins, you can beat the Patriots week 1. I know you lost to them, on the road last year to start the season. I think the Dolphins are a better team this year. They're not going to be thrown off by the blocking schemes and by the way Cam Newton is running week 1 the way that they were last year. Tua's got more weapons. We know that. Now, last year it was Fitz who started against the Patriots, not Tua. But the Dolphins are a better team than they were last year at this time. I think they're going to get that W. Bills game at home the week after that, obviously really tough. Raiders game in Vegas could be tough. I think you can beat the Colts at home the following week. And then the Buccaneers game is going to be tough. So if you come out of that first 5-game stretch 2-3, it's not a catastrophe. You can absolutely turn your season around from there. 1-4, we could have serious problems. 0-5, I take one step off the ledge. But 3-2, 4-1, then I'm feeling tremendous about the Dolphins' prospects this year. But I mean, what do you guys think? 844-416-8123 on the text line. That's 844-416-8123. 9 wins for the over-under. You going over or under that? Or maybe you push it. Maybe you think 9 is the absolute right number for the Dolphins this coming season. Marla on the text line says, oh, no, sorry, that's not Marla. Marla is on the text line, but this text, this did come in from Marla. My brain's all over the place. She said, odds makers realized that Fitzpatrick, who's gone now, won a few of those 10 games last season single-handedly. I think that's got to be one of the things that's going through their mind. No question about that. But still, I think Tua is going to be better, and his supporting cast is going to be dramatically better. Want to say hello to everyone who's in the YouTube chat today. Make sure when you're in there, you smash the like button. You hit the thumbs up button. That pumps us up, right? The more likes we get per video, the more algorithms we can finesse, and the more people's suggestions we show up in for videos to watch, and the more people learn about Onside Radio. And we're all happy. We got Ray, Joseph Rodriguez, Herman is in there. Andy from Scotland is in. He says, evening all. Evening, Andy from Scotland. By the way, Ray, I think it was either Ray or Herman who pointed out that, Marv Albert, he liked wearing women's lingerie back in the day. Good old Marv. And I responded, listen, we all have our kinks. Marv's might be a little bit odd compared to most of our kinks, though. Everyone's into some weird stuff, I think. But Marv Albert, the women's lingerie thing, that might be a little bit stranger than what a lot of us are into, my friends. Speaking of odds, I had alluded to this when Antoine Staley was on. I didn't really get into it, though. I was sent some Aaron Rodgers props. This is interesting. Will Aaron Rodgers take the Packers' first snap of Week 1? No is the favorite at -140. So that doesn't necessarily mean the odds makers think he's going to be playing somewhere else next year, but they don't think he's going to be settled up with the Packers by Week 1, right? That either he's been traded, he's holding out, or maybe he's retired and he's hosting Jeopardy for $10 million. Which is actually, let's be real here, It's a nice gig if you can get it, right? You know, you only have to work, what is it? Jeopardy only tapes like 28 days a year, 48 days a year? You know, I'm sure the days that you work are really long because you're banging out several episodes in a day when you're hosting Jeopardy, because they film a bunch of episodes in the same day because that cuts down on the production costs. But that's pretty good work if you can get it. You're hosting a freaking game show, which if you've got natural ability like Rogers does, it's not the toughest job in the world. Now, people always think that hosting something is super easy. Like, oh, the guy hosting the sports talk show, I love sports, I could do that. He's an idiot. I'd be better than him. I mean, not necessarily, right? Because I've seen plenty of people just kind of come off the street. They try to start their own podcast. And I'm not one of those snobs who thinks that just an average Joe can't start a podcast and be great at it. I know plenty of people who don't have broadcasting backgrounds and actually turn out to be really good YouTubers and podcasters. It's very possible, but you have to have a certain personality and a certain gift of gab to do it. Otherwise, you're just going to drown, right? And so, listen, hosting Jeopardy, I'm not saying it's easy, but for somebody like Aaron, who clearly has a knack for it, because he did a pretty good job when he was filling in, you know, when he got his little tryout period. So he could obviously do it. And, yeah, I would venture to say that putting in, like, a couple 10-hour days hosting Jeopardy versus, you know, the rigors of being a quarterback in the National Football League, that's probably an easier $10 million he can make hosting Jeopardy than the, you know, several million he's making playing for the Green Bay Packers. But, yeah, according to the odds, it's actually more likely that Aaron Rodgers does not take the first snap of the season for the Green Bay Packers. No is the favorite at -140, and yes is the slight underdog at even money. Now, here are the odds for Packers starting quarterback week 1, if not Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love, the favorite, at 3-2 odds. Derek Carr and Drew Lock at 4-1 odds. Teddy Bridgewater, 5-1 odds. Russell Wilson, 12-1. Marcus Mariota, 14-1. Jameis Winston, 16-1. Jimmy G, 16-1. Fitzpatrick, Tua Tagovailoa, 16-1. So I guess, you know, the only way that math would work out is they're thinking the Dolphins could pull off a massive trade that involves Tua, because obviously if Aaron Rodgers were to retire, I don't think the Dolphins are going to trade Tua to Green Bay for something that doesn't involve Aaron Rodgers, like if he were to hold out or retire. But, well, I guess the odds makers think that there's at least a slight chance that the Dolphins were to pull off some trade involving Tua to Green Bay. Oh, listen, if Rodgers comes over here, we could talk. But I like the project and I like Tua. And then there's a few more on that list. Taylor Heineke, Brian Hoyer, Blake Bortles. Like, Blake Bortles is actually on that team, and he has shitty odds, 28-1. You think his odds would be higher. Matt Moore, our old friend, 33-1. Robert Griffin III, 33-1. Blaine Gabbert, 50-1. And Matt Barkley, 66-1 odds of being the Packers starting quarterback week 1, if not Aaron Rodgers. That's pretty interesting. 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. We're going to finish up the 4 o'clock hour when we return here on Onside Radio. Don Cheadle dropped a potential bombshell about the new Space Jam film. That's a sports-related story, right? We'll get into that when we come back. Hey, start your morning every day at 8 a.m. with Toasted Sports. Toast covers all the local sports stories while providing some great Miami Hurricanes insight. Download, subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Toasted Sports, 8 to 10 a.m., only at OnSideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Join the InterMiami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
Hey Panthers fans, Dave Dwart here with some awesome news. Every Saturday, I'm going to bring you the latest on everything to do with the Florida Panthers with Chirping the Cats Radio. Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m., we'll dive into the state of the team, recap games, and hear from past and present Panthers players and plenty of other great hockey guests too. Got questions about the Panthers? Call or text the show and we'll break it down. Don't miss Chirping the Cats Radio, Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m. only on OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. If you missed Onside Zone with Big O, you missed.
Hey, Big O, what's going on? Listen, I just was telling your guy that answered the phone. It's just, Alex, it's just a pleasure, man, to get out of work and get in your car and be able to put on the radio and hear South Florida sports and not have to listen to some bull crap about another team from another state that you can give to a rat's ass about and sit there and have to go through all this other bull crap talk to, again, never hear them talk about your team once or twice in 20 hours. It's just an honor, and I wanted to thank you, man, for starting this thing up, man. It's balls to the walls. I love it.
Onside Zone with a Big O from 12 noon to 3 p.m. every weekday on OnsideRadio.com. You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world.
Can I get a captain?
Captain and what?
Captain and Ginger.
I can't hear you.
Captain and Ginger.
He was a captain and Ginger. Captain and Ginger. He was a captain and Ginger.
Captain Morgan, official partner of Major League Soccer.
Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Be honest with me, Alex. It's perfectly okay to say yes, I'm very excited for it. Perfectly okay to say no, I'd rather watch paint dry. Are you looking forward to the new Space Jam movie, Space Jam 2? Is that going to be high on your list of things to watch upcoming?
Not really, but I'll watch it.
Like, I don't know, man. It's going to be so low on my list. Like, I've got so many things, and I don't want to make it sound like, oh, I'm so much busier than you, and my time is so much more important. No, but I'm just like, I'm a TV and movies junkie, and there's a lot of stuff I'm working around to watching right now. Like, my wife and I are watching the Mighty Ducks series on Disney+. We're like 5 episodes into it. Delightful. The only thing that really disappointed me, though, was the other day we were watching episode 5, which was the original Mighty Ducks reunion. They had some of the the players from the movies, like some of the actors come back, and like Adam Banks was there, Averman was there, Connie and Guy were there, Fulton Reed. One of the dudes from the second film, I can't remember his name in the movie, was there. But I was so disappointed. No Charlie Conway. Like, Josh Jackson, what the hell are you doing right now that's more important than showing up for the Mighty Ducks reunion? I don't know where this dude is. And no Goldberg either. Goldberg wasn't there. That dude's still alive, right? I remember reading years ago that the actor who played Goldberg, I think he had some addiction problems. So I hope he's still around. But, bro, you got to show up for the Mighty Ducks reunion. I was very disappointed by some of the Ducks that were absent from the reunion episode. Speaking of reunions, this is actually pretty big. Eventually, I'm going to get around to Space Jam 2. Don Cheadle is in the movie. I think they're saying Cheadle plays like the bad guy in the film. They describe him as the main antagonist. And he was asked if Michael Jordan is going to be in the new film. Because, of course, LeBron James, who is he's a supporter of communist China. I've got to make sure I mention that when we talk about LeBron. He's a big fan of communism. Disrespected Pat Riley a few years ago. Had to get those things out of the way when we talk about LeBron. LeBron James is starring in the film, but Cheadle was asked if Jordan is going to be in the movie because he's not in the trailers and stuff. So we're all wondering, is Michael Jordan going to be in the film? He said Michael Jordan is in the movie, but not in the way you'd expect it. Okay, that has me kind of wondering. Not in the way you'd expect it. I'm thinking two things. A, is there any chance Michael Jordan somehow winds up being like a villain in the movie? Like he ends up playing with the Monstars? I wouldn't expect that. Now, here's the other thing, and this would really piss me off if this is all it was. So he says Michael Jordan is in the movie, but not in the way you'd expect it. What if it's just flashbacks? Like, how crappy would that be if, like, the only appearance Jordan has in the movie is, here's a flashback sequence of the last time the Monstars came to Earth, and Michael Jordan and Bill Murray and, you know, the whole gang, Bugs Bunny are suiting up. Like, that would be kind of anticlimactic if he's only, like, I can remember one of the Terminator sequels, the one that came out like 10, 11 years ago with Christian Bale playing John Connor. That one, you know, they made like a big to-do of like, oh, we've got like a big surprise cameo in the film. So we're all figuring, oh, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator himself is going to be in the movie. And it turned out to be just a CGI Schwarzenegger. And it wasn't really him in the film. And it was like, I think I threw popcorn at the screen in the movie theater. I was so disappointed. Like, what the hell is this crap? I was really, so I hope it's not something like that with MJ. Like, oh, Jordan's in the movie, yeah, but it's like a CGI Jordan or it's like some kind of like Fugazi flashback scene. Herman may be right about this. Herman says, isn't the reunion on the 6th episode of the Mighty Ducks? You might be right. We watched 2 episodes last night, so it might have actually been the 5th and the 6th, not the 4th and the 5th. Whatever it was, the most recent episode that we watched was the reunion episode. And I was just kind of upset that there's no Charlie Conway and no Goldberg. Like, how do you have a Mighty Ducks reunion without 2 of the most important Mighty Ducks? I mean, I'm glad that Fulton Reed showed up, but come on. How can you have it without Charlie, my friends? 844-416-8123. We're going to talk some Panthers with George Richards from Florida Hockey Now. Set the record straight on this nonsense. Tampa Bay Lightning should not even be allowed to play in this series with their salary cap situation. Hey, every day at Onside Radio, our hosts sit down at the round table to tackle the most important local or national sports headlines. The round table is podcasted daily. Search Onside Radio on all platforms. Subscribe, rate, and review to listen to all kinds of station segments. OnsideRadio.com is the home for South Florida sports.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
When you want a perfectly straight smile without braces, you can count on MoodyAsDental.com. A stunning smile is within reach. Learn more about Invisalign. Find out why so many trust the Moody-Ass family. Dr. Moody-Ass is an inventor and has several patents on innovative surgical instruments that are used around the world. Experience a family environment and trust on a worldwide level. From implants to crowns to a beautiful Invisalign smile. Call 305-821-0231. That's 305-821-0231. Or go to the website at MoodyAsDental.com.
Welcome back to Miami Sports Music for the Fans. To reach out to Stephen D, send a text to 844. You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the Radio.net app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station.
Hey, what's up? It's Toast, and I've been telling you guys all about my buddies over at B&T Windows and Doors. And some of you said, hey, listen, Toast, I'd love to get PGT custom windows and doors installed, but funds are a little tight right now. No problem, bro. Y Green. You can finance it with B&T Windows and Doors through Y Green, so you can still get your PGT custom windows and doors installed. And yeah, you're not going to have to put anything down. It's awesome. That's the way I got mine installed. Call B&T Windows and Doors today. They'll tell you all about Y Green and how to finance your windows. 954-233-0126. That's 954-233-0126.
Miami Dolphins fans can always count on the best coverage at OnsideRadio.com. Every week, keep up with your favorite team as Dolphins writer Omar Kelly joins us with exclusive reports. And when news breaks, catch the EJDConstruction.com Miami Dolphins report on the home for Dolphins fans everywhere, OnsideRadio.com. You're listening to the flagship station of InterMiami CF, OnsideRadio.com. Follow us on social media at Onside Radio. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno.
It's all yours. Just keep it right here.
You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah, 5 o'clock hour, a man of the match with Alex Donno. Taking you up for another hour, and then we'll have our guy Stephen D, Miami Sports Music, big debut of our newest show here on Onside Radio, a show belonging to and driven by Miami Dolphins fans. It's going to be great to hear that tonight. I'm looking forward to doing some crosstalk with Stephen coming up in about 45 minutes or so. Plenty of business, though, to get to with this Florida Panthers-Tampa Bay Lightning series. Lightning did take game one in dramatic fashion by a 5-4 final score. I maintain, though, that they should forfeit the series and the Florida Panthers should automatically advance to the next round. George, can you explain to me these salary cap shenanigans? And I know at the end of the day, what they do here is by the rule where they're stashing players on this long-term injury report, and they're in actuality they're $17 million over the cap. Oh, but there's no salary cap in the playoffs. Very convenient. Like, this is nonsense, George. The Florida Panthers should be automatically advancing to the next round.
Okay, I mean, call the commissioner. I'm sure he'll hear you out.
I've gotten the voicemail 13 times already today.
Listen, those are the rules, man. I mean, the Chicago Blackhawks with Joel Quenneville did it a couple years ago. Patrick Kane had a collarbone, and they were up against a cap. And once you put a player on long-term injured reserve, you can match that money for another player. And basically what Tampa did was stash it. I mean, Kucherov legitimately had hip surgery. He couldn't walk in January. He was long-term injured. But he was probably good to go a couple weeks ago. Yep. But they could not pay him because they couldn't afford it.
Well, okay, let's talk about the actual game, because we're going to have to agree to disagree that the Lightning should be forced to forfeit.
It's shady, but it's not illegal. It's shady, but it is what are you going to do?
You know what else seems a little bit shady to me? This Sam Bennett suspension. I mean, George, I feel like there could have been a couple of Lightning players suspended as well.
Yeah, there was definitely – I don't understand how they select – I mean, Bennett on its own is probably a suspendable offense. There's when you watch the video, he lined the guy up and drilled him basically in retribution for him goofing around with Sasha Barkov. So it was he meant to do what he did. When you're winning 4-3, you probably should not have done it. Maybe if you're losing 5-2, that you do that kind of stuff then, but that was a tough penalty to take, especially as good as their power play had been. Bad play all around by Bennett, but you're absolutely right. There were 4 or 5 instances that probably could have been looked at, and I'm sure they did look at them. They just didn't, they determined that it wasn't worth anything. But that early boarding from McDonough on Anthony Duclair, some of the stuff that went on, Huberdeau got run up against the wall. Barkov, was getting messed with here and there. It was one of those things. But, hey, listen, Radko Gudas had a hit, I think, in the second period that brought out some oohs and ahs. This is going to be a very physical series. These two teams do not like each other whatsoever. It's going to get fun.
And would you agree with me that, and I still think the Panthers can absolutely win this series, and I think it's going to go 7 games, but if the Panthers don't win Game 2, we're in serious trouble. I'm considering Game 2 a must-win game.
Yeah, they would be in big trouble. You don't want to go to Tampa down 2-0, because then then you've got to win 4 out of 6, 4 out of 5, whatever it is, to get back win this. That's not going to be easy. But again, they got goals on Vasilevsky. You had the one taken away from Sam Bennett. That would have been the Panthers, third game this year where they've scored 5 against Vasilevsky. They still got 4. So this guy is an all-world goalie. He's a Vezina champion. He's going to win the Vezina trophy for best goalie in the NHL again this year. And the Panthers have had his number. So if you're looking for some positives, there were a ton of positives for the Florida Panthers last night. The only thing they didn't get was the win.
By the way, what did you think about the Bennett goal that got overruled? I thought that was a little bit harsh. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to look at it on video after the fact and you declare that there was goalie interference, knock yourself out. But once the referee blew it dead on the ice, what are you going to do? The Panthers could have challenged it, but at that point, once it's ruled, then now you've got to you've got to force her to prove. You've got to show that there was no contact when they're acting. You saw that there was. The Panthers would have lost it only because they waved the goal off. I think if they would have if they would have ruled it a goal on the ice, looked at it on video, it would have been harder to overturn. So the Panthers were put in a tough situation just because the officials waved it off right then and there.
Joined here by George Richards, does an awesome job. He's covered the Panthers for many years. He does so for FloridaHockeyNow.com. George, who do you think gets the call at goalie in Game 2? Because, I mean, obviously, last night wasn't Bob's fault, but he wasn't extraordinary, and 5 goals did get past him at the end of the day. Do you think Drieger gets a shot?
He very well could. But I think that if you say that Sergei Bobrovsky is your goalie here in the playoffs, you've got to give him Game 2. Joel Quenneville even said yesterday, hey, let's let cooler heads prevail. Let's look at the film, on Monday and see what's going on. So I think once you break down the film of the game, you'll see that Sergei Bobrovsky actually made some absolutely fantastic saves in that game and kept the Panthers in it, especially in that second period when you had Kucherov scoring the 2 wide open power play goals to give Tampa a 3-2 lead, but Tampa had 3 or 4 other prime time chances in that period. They could have been up 4-5-2, and they weren't because of Sergei Bobrovsky. So I think if he's your guy, you got to roll with him. I don't think having a short leash is good for the mental aspect for a goalie. I think if you pull him and you say, we're pulling you because you gave up, then what do you do when you have to put him back in? So I think you stick with him.
That game for the Panthers last night, it was lost on special teams. I mean, you on the penalty kill, you allowed Tampa Bay to score on 3 of their 4 power play tries. You gave up a shorthanded goal as well. What were your takeaways, George, from the PK, and what did Q say about that last night?
Yeah, I mean, it looked to me like the Panthers had been watching. They knew Tampa Bay too well this year. They were playing Tampa Bay's power play like they had all season long. Problem was, Tampa Bay had Kucherov back, and Tampa Bay was playing a different style that the Panthers hadn't seen this year. If they would have watched Tampa Bay tape from last year, and maybe they did, I'm not saying they didn't, but sure didn't look it, because Kucherov was wide open every single time, because Tampa Bay hadn't really used that right circle slap shot there all year because Kucherov hadn't been there. So I think they've got tape now. I think it'll be better. Losing Sam Bennett, he's suspended. He's a terrific penalty killer. That doesn't help the Panthers, but they'll be more prepared, I think, for what Tampa Bay is bringing to the table tomorrow.
By the way, I wasn't at the game last night, but even on TV, the crowd looked and sounded fantastic. And it's crazy to think that that's only half capacity, right? Because I've been to playoff games before in that arena, in the Islanders series from a few years back, in the Devils series from a little bit longer ago, when it's, 19,000 standing room only, and it's nuts. But even 9,400 looked and sounded great on TV. Like, what was it like covering that game? And I guess it sort of feels like, at least with sports, we're almost back to normal now.
Yeah, it definitely had an electric feel. I think you could feel it coming into the arena. The Panthers brought out new game presentation stuff. It felt like a big game. The chants were going early. There were people in the building for warm-ups, which there never are. It really felt good. And again, like you said, the place was only half filled. And that place is such a barn. BB&T Center is weird. 10,000 people in there felt like 18,000. And sometimes they get 16,000 in that building. It feels like 5, It's just such a big building. But the way they spaced it out, they had everybody in little groups, but it felt packed. And we know it wasn't. It was only, halfway.
No, really good stuff here, as always, from George Richards. Florida Hockey Now is his website. George, what's your prediction for the rest of this series, man? And actually, let me frame it this way. Did anything from the way the game was played last night or the outcome of the game, did it change your prediction for the series, and what are you looking at the rest of the way?
No. I thought that the Tampa Bay Lightning were back to full strength, and we saw what they can do at full strength. They had Victor Hedman back. They had Steven Stamkos, who didn't really do anything, but him just being out there gives them a presence, and it opens up things for Kucherov, who is an all-world player. Tampa Bay, this is a completely different team than when we saw last week. This is a different team than we saw last month. So that's just how talented the Tampa Bay Lightning are, that you could have, like you said, $20 million worth of players on the shelf, and they still ease their way into the playoffs. It was never in doubt that Tampa Bay was going to make the playoffs, and that gave them the opportunity to do what they did. This is a very good team. They're the defending champions, and they deserve to be, and they're going to be really, really hard to beat, either by the Panthers or by anybody else.
By the way, I'm going to let you know I'm currently drafting a strongly worded email to Gary Bettman, the NHL commissioner, and what I'm petitioning for here, George, is that the 2 Nikita Kucherov goals should not count because he was an ineligible player on the ice due to the salary cap. So I think it's highly possible that by 5 p.m. tomorrow, the Panthers will actually have the 1-0 series lead, because if you wipe the Kucherov goals off the board, because, again, ineligible player on the ice, that's going to be a 4-3 victory for the Panthers, and we can actually skate into tomorrow night with a 1-0 series lead. So keep an eye out for a ruling coming by tomorrow, George.
Okay, well, I'm sure Gary Bettman, he lives up in Palm Beach. He might be at one of the games. I'll ask him about it. I'll see if he got your letter, and we'll see what happens.
I appreciate that. George Richards, you want to follow him on Twitter at George Richards. Check out his work at FloridaHockeyNow.com. Thank you so much, George. Enjoy the rest of the week and the rest of the series.
All right, my man. Be good.
Awesome stuff. I mean, you think about it, the 2 Nikita Kucherov goals should not have counted. So 4-3 victory coming for our Florida Panthers. What a time to be alive. What a beautiful time to be alive. So couple things I want to do later this hour. I want to get into a little bit of a conversation on Kyrie Irving and this whole bigger than basketball attitude. Plus, I've not listened to this yet. Rafa in Miami, one of our great listeners, was tweeting about this. I've already sent the sound to Alex Aguirre, and I'm going to give it a listen during the break. Skip Bayless trashing LeBron James. Now, we have a rule here, okay? Skip Bayless is a clown and a hot take merchant, and he very commonly appears on Terrible Take Tuesday. But when Skip Bayless is trashing LeBron, he's our boy. That's the way it works here. I sent it, by the way, Alex. I slid into the OnsideRadio.com DMs on Twitter. So I'm going to take a look at this. I'm going to take a look at this Skip sound during the break, because anytime Skip Bayless is trashing LeBron, he's our dude. But you know what? I might actually have to defend Kyrie Irving a little bit on the other side. We'll get into that and more when we come back here on Onside Radio. The fans support the teams, buy the jerseys and tickets, but never get the love they deserve on sports radio. OnsideRadio.com changes that with Miami sports music for the fans. It's the show driven by Stephen D, representing Miami sports fans around the world. Tune in every night. That starts tonight, by the way, guys. Big debut. Tune in tonight, 6 to 7 p.m. and every weeknight as Stephen D and fans around the world drive the talk about your favorite South Florida sports team. OnsideRadio.com, dedicated to the Miami sports fan.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You can now watch Onside Radio daily by subscribing to our YouTube and Twitch channels. Search Onside Radio. Log on, subscribe, rate, and review Onside Radio on YouTube and Twitch. Find out why Big O has a face for radio. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's home for real sports talk.
If you're looking for a change from the everyday restaurant, then you need to get to Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach. Brats, Wiener Schnitzel, homemade potato pancakes, pretzels with mustard, and lots of German beer. Take their famous Boot Tour Challenge, and there's now outdoor seating available in their new beer garden with live music. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Checkers Old Munchin Restaurant, or call them for reservations or pickup at 954-785-7565. So get over to 2209 East Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach to Zagat-rated Checkers Old Munchin German restaurant.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. You're listening to OnSideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnSideRadio.com. South Florida's true hometown station. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. Check this out. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah, welcome back in to Man of the Match. Huge thanks again to George Richards from Florida Hockey Now for joining us. So a huge shout out to our listener Rafa in Miami who brought to my attention this Skip Bayless audio. Skip Bayless is never going to give LeBron a break, right? Anytime LeBron underperforms, which doesn't happen very often, to be fair, or if LeBron comes up with an injury or LeBron is the subject of load management, Skip Bayless on Fox Sports 1 is going to make sure to let you know about it. So LeBron James tweaks the ankle, and here is Skip Bayless taking LeBron to task.
Could somebody please explain to me why LeBron James was still in the game at New Orleans tonight with 6.5 minutes left? Not against the New Orleans Pelicans, against the Skeletons, the third-string Pelicans. And don't blame Frank Vogel for this. Blame LeBron James. He puts himself into games. He takes himself out of games. He's the unofficial head coach. So they're up 13. It doesn't matter because Portland has already blown out Denver. And LeBron tweaks his ankle again. Did he want an excuse for the play-in game? They were in the play-in game. What was he in the game for at New Orleans? I have no idea. I just know this year is not feeling meant to be for the Lakers. That's why I like these guys to win the West.
I think these guys. I think he was pointing to a Jazz logo, if I'm not mistaken. And
Clippers.
Oh, Clippers. Yeah, I wasn't sure because he's wearing a Brooklyn Nets hat in that video. So he's all over the road. Like he's repping the Nets with the headwear. He's repping the Clippers. You know,
he's wearing a Clippers hat.
Oh, that's a Clippers hat?
Yeah, it's a Clippers hat.
Oh, my bad. I didn't. I'm looking at the logo. Oh, my bad. I thought that was a Nets hat. All right, so he's repping the Clippers. He's focusing on the Clippers. Meanwhile, in the NBA, a lot of people are making a big to-do on something Kyrie Irving said, where he didn't want to answer basketball questions. He wanted to focus on the Middle East. Now, I keep it real with you guys. There have been times this season when I've criticized Kyrie, when he's gone on long hiatuses, when he's taken time away from basketball, when he seems to forget about the fact that he's paid 8 figures to play basketball. But this time around, honestly, I'm going to support Kyrie, and I'll explain why. But listen to a little bit of what Kyrie Irving had to say when he wasn't interested in talking basketball. Here's what Kyrie told reporters.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. A lot of stuff is going on in this world, and basketball is just not the most important thing to me right now. There's a lot of stuff going on overseas. All my people are still in bondage all across the world, and there's a lot of dehumanization going on. So I apologize if I'm not going to be focused on y'all questions. It's just too much going on in the world for me to just be talking about basketball. Like, I focus on this 24/7 most of the time, but it's just too much going on in this world not to address. It's sad to see this going on. And it's not just in Palestine. It's not just in Israel. It's all over the world, man, and I feel it. I'm very compassionate to all races, all cultures, and to see a lot of different people being discriminated from upon or against, being discriminated against based on their religion, color of their skin, what they believe in. It's just sad. We all say we're human beings and we care and we're compassionate, but what are you doing to help? And being in this gym, I'm grateful for opportunity. It's a blessing, but my goal out here, my purpose is to help humanity, and I can't sit here and not address that. I don't care which way you stand on either side. If you're a human being, then you would support, the anti-war effort that's going on. There's a lot of people losing their lives, children, a lot of babies, and that's just what I'm focused on. So if you guys want to ask me questions about the game, I really don't care about it, but except just everybody leaving out of the game healthy and being able to go home to their families.
Honestly, I really thought what he said there was beautiful. And sometimes when we're over here in our ivory tower, over here, and we kind of look, we watch the news, we see what's happening in the Middle East, and sometimes people will just take a side and not really focus on the fact that no matter what side you're on, if you do have one side or the other in this conflict, that on either side and both sides, there are innocent people dying, there are innocent people losing their lives, people who just they lost the lottery of being born into a tough situation. I mean, how lucky am I and so many of you listening that we were born into a wonderful country, a peaceful country. And yeah, bad things happen over here, man. I mean, we have violent shootings that happen way too often over here. 9/11 was an awful attack on our shores, but for the most part, I can wake up every morning and not have to worry about, getting shot at or stepping on a landmine or having rockets fired in my direction. Like, it's a wonderful blessing, and I didn't do anything to earn that. I just happened to be born into an amazing country and into an amazing situation. So I completely respect what Kyrie is bringing up there. And, we've talked about Irving before and how he's the type that he's very, very sensitive to what's happening in the world. And a lot of us are. Like, I don't turn a blind eye to terrible things that happen around the world, but it never affects the way that I wake up in the morning and I go to work and I do my job and I spend time with my family. Like, I'm not as, like, I'm sensitive to it and sympathetic to it, but I'm not sensitive to the point of Kyrie, where violence happening on the other side of the world means I'm not able to do my job that day, because that's happened to him before. But in this case, okay, before people automatically jump at Kyrie Irving, like, oh, he doesn't want to answer basketball questions because he's talking about violence overseas. He's not missing games right now for that. Like, it's like, oh, if he had told you last night, by the way, I'm going to take 3 weeks off and I'm going to skip playoff games and I'm not going to be around, then yeah, we can have that discussion. Like, we can have that discussion of why does this guy get preferential treatment and why can't he do his job while also being sensitive to violence overseas. But in this case, all Kyrie Irving was doing was using his platform to speak on something happening in the world that maybe too many of us are either not aware of or it's very easy for us to turn a blind eye on. I'm perfectly cool with him using that platform. Because quite frankly, is it really that important that you need Kyrie to break down like a zone defense and break down his shot selection from that night? Like, the guy's still going out there and playing. And by the way, Kyrie Irving statistically just had a pretty ridiculous season. 50, 40, 90 on the shooting percentages this year. 50 from the floor, 40 from three-point, 90-plus from the free throw line, while averaging over 25 points a game. Only a couple of players have ever done that. Like, that's freaking ridiculous, the numbers that he's putting up this year. Here are the members of the exclusive 50, 40, 90 club. Larry Bird, Mark Price, Reggie Miller, Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, Malcolm Brogdon, Kyrie Irving. Some pretty damn good players on that list. So, listen, you can complain if you want to about this guy, not strictly focusing on basketball, with his post-game media session. But, the reality is, he's using his platform to bring awareness for something that, yeah, it's happening in a faraway place, but it's one of the most impactful things happening in the world right now. And last I checked, he's not taking any time off right now. So he can still do his job and speak up. So I take no issue with that whatsoever. I'm actually going to defend Kyrie Irving on this one. I mean, listen, once you reach a point where you decide, you don't want to play and you're still collecting checks because you're so distraught over violence in the world, then, yeah, you can have a conversation about whether this guy should be an active basketball player or not. But if he's able to go out there, play well, help his team win, and help his team work towards a championship while also bringing awareness to violence overseas, that's kind of the name of the game. I don't take any issue with that whatsoever, man. 844-416-8123 is how you get at us on the text line. That's 844-416-8123. God, I was reading about something this morning. I don't claim to fully understand what this means, but this doesn't sound good. Alex, do you know anything about the Three Gorges Dam in China? A very large dam in China. Do you know anything about this Three Gorges Dam?
Nope. No, I just ran out of dam knowledge. I don't know any.
Yeah, I think I can only name now 2 dams. I can name the Hoover Dam, and I can name the Three Gorges Dam. Well, the Three Gorges Dam is so big, it is holding up all the water in the Yangtze River. It holds it up 300 feet in the air. And when that 300 feet of water is getting held up, it weighs 84.3 trillion pounds. And when that water is raised up, it actually slows down the Earth's rotation. That doesn't sound good to me. So there's a man-made thing over in China. We should ask LeBron James about this, if he knows anything about this dam in China, the country that he loves so much. So this Three Gorges Dam is actually slowing down the Earth's rotation. And let me see how much. 60 nanoseconds. So it actually makes our days longer. So, Alex, do you ever go through a day where, you're working, 2 jobs, you're working 12, 13, 14 hours a day, you're like, God, time is going by so slowly. Do you know why time is going by that slowly? It's because the Three Gorges Dam in China is actually making every day of ours on Earth 60 nanoseconds longer. I can't imagine what this means in the long term. It may mean nothing for a year or two, but, within the next few hundred years, this may throw off the entire galaxy. If they're slowing down the Earth's rotation 60 nanoseconds a day. And apparently, according to Barstool Sports, China is actually planning on building another dam that's 3 times bigger than the Three Gorges Dam. So we're going to end up did you ever see the movie Interstellar, where they land on that planet where time actually moves more slowly on that planet than it does above that planet? That's going to be Earth pretty soon, man. On Earth, 3 years on Earth is going to be 50 years off Earth at this rate. If we keep building these gigantic goddamn dams in China, it's going to be a real problem here. So I don't know what this means for the Earth long term, but let's all hold hands and sing Kumbaya, man, because we may be getting to the end here pretty soon. By the way, another thing I saw today, did you see this, Alex, that Twitter is launching a subscription service for $3 a month. It's going to be called Twitter Blue. It's going to cost $3 a month. This was tweeted out by tipster Jane Manchun Wong. She tweeted this on Saturday. In early May, the social media site spoke of an upcoming subscription offering that they are currently exploring. Wong said that the service could have a tiered pricing model with users who pay more getting more features. And she said one of those features will be collections, which will let you save favorite tweets in collections so you can locate them later. That sounds like a real terrible waste of $3. Why don't I flush $3 down the toilet? What collections? What is this crap? It's unclear when Twitter's subscription service will roll out, they say, but the company has tested features like undoing tweets, a charge to use dashboard app TweetDeck, and super follows, which would let you follow a creator or publisher for a monthly subscription fee and get exclusive content. So that sounds a lot like like Twitter's going to become like OnlyFans, basically, a lot more. I'm going to have to start going nude on my account to make some money, I guess. There's also the scroll technology, which could offer Twitter users an ad-free tweet perusing experience. Twitter declined comment to the Twitter Blue News Saturday. I got a theory on this. You know how people are always asking for, when is Twitter going to roll out an edit button? This happens to me like twice a day because my thumbs are a little bit too fat for my iPhone. So when I'm writing out tweets sometimes, I have these really dumb grammatical errors, spelling errors, and I'm kind of smart, man. I got a 1220 on my SATs, first try, barely studied for it. Like I'm relatively smart. I did really well on the verbal. I can put coherent thoughts on paper, but it happens to me like a couple times per day when I hit send on a tweet that's got a dumb spelling error, dumb grammar error. Do I really want to go through the trouble of deleting the tweet and starting over every goddamn time? I don't. No, I don't. Sometimes I leave a tweet out there knowing there's a mistake. Now, I despise Facebook because I'm tired of my relatives ranting and raving about politics. Like, I despise Facebook. But one thing that Facebook actually does right is you write out a Twitter, a Facebook update, I should say, and you get through like 4 paragraphs of like anti-masking or anti-vaxxing. Not me, but that's what a lot of people do on Facebook. And then if you have a stupid spelling mistake in there, you can edit that. You can take out one word, you can take out a whole paragraph, you can change a sentence, and then you just edit it. On Twitter, you can't do that. So my theory is, in light of this Twitter Blue news, I think Twitter's been sitting on this. I think Twitter is perfectly capable of rolling out technology where you can edit a tweet without deleting it and redoing it, but they're going to save it for this dopey Twitter Blue. Like they're holding back features now, and once they roll out the $3 a month Twitter subscription, then they're going to say, oh, by the way, the people who pay $3 a month, you're going to be able to edit your tweets every time instead of deleting them and starting over. I think it's one of those things that you're going to have to pay for on the service. I mean, listen, social media is fantastic. Social media has changed the world. I don't know how you can literally sell it to people, right? I mean, listen, it's shady enough that we know you use something like Facebook. We've all come to find out they're selling your personal information. Like, we've come to grips on that. That's how Facebook makes billions of dollars, right? They throw those ads up there, and the reason why they know exactly what you're into is like, oh my God, earlier this morning, I Googled, the latest iPhone model, and then I log on to Facebook, and oh my God, they're front and center. There's an ad for the latest iPhone. They really get me. Well, no, they don't get you. They're stealing your information. Is how they know exactly what's on your mind because you Google it, they steal it, they sell your info, and they post it all over your Facebook page. So, there's definitely a moral trade-off with that, but I think I'd rather it be free, right? And I'm sure Twitter does the same thing because Twitter's got ads. They put ads all over your timeline. But at the end of the day, man, I think I'd rather keep the Twitter experience free. I'm not going to pay for it just to remove the ads. Alex, I'll tell you how frugal I am because I know some people who actually like. Are you a Hulu subscriber? I like it because there's a couple shows I really like on there. Am. So, do you pay for the extra tier that takes out the ads? Because I pay for the cheapest tier. I don't mind sitting through like 3-4 minutes of ads.
Yeah, I have like the lowest tier.
Same here. Like, I know some people who actually, because I think the lowest tier, Hulu is like the most affordable of the stream. Well, actually, no, there's a couple more that are pretty affordable. Netflix is really expensive. Like, and I pay for Netflix every time the bill comes up. I'm like, God, $16 again. Hulu is like $6. Like, it's only like $6 a month when you have the lowest tier. But, when you pull up a show or a movie, it's like 2 minutes of ads. And then, like, somewhere in the middle of the show, they're going to run, like, 90 seconds. It's really not that many ads, but there are actually people who, instead of paying the bare minimum, which is like $6-7 a month, will pay $11-12 a month just to remove the ads. So maybe there's some people who would actually be willing to pay for, like, the more expensive Twitter service. But, yeah, I agree with Mike No Go Zones, who writes in, Twitter Blue is going to be a flop. Yeah, I would agree with that. No question about that. Oh, Tony 2 times writes in. Oh, I didn't know this about the Mighty Ducks. He says, Luis Mendoza, the speedster from South Miami, that was his character in the second Mighty Ducks movie. is an LA firefighter. He doesn't want to act anymore. Sucks they couldn't get him back on the show. Yeah, you know, my wife was telling me, because she like looked everybody up after we watched the episode last night. The guy who plays Adam Banks doesn't act anymore either. And you could actually tell because he was, like, personality-wise, stiff as a board in that episode. Like, you know, he was a child actor, 20-some years ago. You could tell, though, because Adam Banks did come back for the Mighty Ducks reunion episode. But, like, the dude was about as believable as, like, me if I just rolled onto a movie set. Like, it was pretty bad. So, yeah, but even though he doesn't act anymore, he was willing to do the show. But apparently Luis Mendoza doesn't. And he was great in that movie. That kid could skate so fast. And his thing was he couldn't stop, right? That was his thing. Like, Mendoza could fly across the ice, but he didn't know how to stop. Oh, man, and Tony 2 times was telling me about Goldberg. Yeah, so the guy who played Goldberg, the reason why he didn't come back was because he's been in rehab. And I thought so. I remember reading about him having addiction problems. Poor guy has been hooked pretty heavy to drugs during his adult life. He's trying to turn his life around. Emilio Estevez went to bat for him with Disney to get him on the show, but Disney wouldn't budge. Oh, goddamn Disney. So you're telling me Disney wouldn't let him come on the show because he's had drug addiction problems? Hey, that's kind of bad. You know, I love Disney, but I'm kind of turning on Disney a little bit. I remember a few weeks ago, because we're trying to get legal sports betting passed in Florida, and we're getting pretty close. But you know who's really been lobbying against it is Disney. Because Disney, like, corners the market on tourism in Florida because Disney World is a juggernaut, right? So Disney, I guess, feels threatened by the idea of if we legalize sports betting in Florida, you're going to have more and more casino. Well, there's already casinos, but the casinos will get bigger because the sports books are going to turn up. So you're going to get sports books popping up. You know, they're going to pop up down here. We know that. Like the Hard Rock, the second they legalize sports betting, the Hard Rock is going to have a sports book like within like a day. Like they're going to work so fast on that. There's a Hard Rock in Tampa also. I would imagine they would do the same thing. You know, there's going to be probably some hotels in Orlando that turn up with sports betting. So like Disney, they feel threatened by the idea that, hey, you know, there are already tourists obviously who come to Florida to go to the beach and stuff, but so many of them go to Disney World and they don't want to lose more tourists to sports books. So Disney has been lobbying against legalized sports betting in Florida. I think that's kind of shady. Just let some other people make some money. Disney, man, listen, I love Disney World, but until I can get a sports book in Animal Kingdom, I'm not going to be fully invested in your product, all right? 844-416-8123 is how you get in on the text line. That's 844-416-8123. Yet I can't tell you how many angry Tampa Bay Lightning fans have been turning up in my timeline because I've been complaining today about how that morally bankrupt franchise is circumventing the salary cap rules. Like, you know, they've been just burying Steven Stamkos and Nikita Kucherov on the long-term injured reserve list, so they don't count against the salary cap. Adding players, they're $17 million over the cap. They shouldn't even be allowed to play in this series against the Panthers, but the NHL has some stupid rule that the salary cap, it counts in the regular season and it doesn't count in the playoffs. So they've been able to circumvent that so far. All right, we're going to take you up until 6 o'clock tonight here on Man of the Match. Remember, before 6 o'clock, going to have some crosstalk with our guy Stephen D. from Miami Sports Music. And hey, every Monday, Heat and NBA fans can catch the best hour of basketball talk when Ethan Skolnick and Ira Winterman host the Pallet Rack City Inside the Paint Show. Listen to two of the most knowledgeable and connected reporters in the business. Get year-round insight every Monday from 10 to 11 a.m. with Inside the Paint on the home for hardcore basketball fans, OnSideRadio.com.
The Man of the Match with South Florida's own Alex Donno. Weekdays 1 to 5 p.m. on the home for InterMiami football. OnSideRadio.com.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella, I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
If you missed Onside Zone with Big O, you missed.
She's kind of young, so I don't know. She may not be into Van Halen much. Let's see. Hey, Ruthie, good afternoon. Are you a Van Halen fan?
You know, I just had to Google Van Halen. I'm not going to lie to you. I just literally have it on my computer right now.
The Onside Zone with Big O. Weekdays 11 to 1 p.m. Only on OnsideRadio.com. Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnsideRadio.com sports update.
InterMiami beat FC Cincinnati 3-2, getting a brace from Gonzalo Higuain and a goal from Breck Shea. InterMiami's next match is away at Chicago Fire FC Saturday night at 6 p.m. Florida Panthers lose Game 1 of their NHL playoff series to the Tampa Bay Lightning 5-4. Jonathan Huberdeau had a goal and 2 assists, but Braden Point had 2 late goals, the winner with 1:14 left in the game. Game 2 tomorrow night. Puck drops at 8 p.m. Miami Heat beat the Detroit Pistons yesterday 120-107. Precious Achiuwa scored a career-high 23 points, and Max Strus added 20 for the Heat. They will end up with the 6th seed and start the playoffs against the Milwaukee Bucks, who beat the Heat on Saturday night 122-108. The Marlins lost 2 of 3 over the weekend after a 3-2 win yesterday. Not a bad day at the office for Adam Duvall, as he had a 3-run homer and threw out Mookie Betts at the plate. Marlins are 18-22 on the year, and they start a series with the Philadelphia Phillies tomorrow night. You're listening to South Florida's only locally owned sports talk station. And coming up, it's more Man of the Match with Alex Donno right here at OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to the only sports station in South Florida that likes to take your calls. 888-441-4623. We connect with a South Florida sports fan because we are South Florida. Locally owned and operated. 888-441-4623. OnsideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk.
When you're tired of watching the sun damage your furniture or raise your electric bill, it's time to do what we did here at OnsideRadio.com studio. Call A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie and Sunrise. A Shade Above Window Fashions has a great selection of blackout shades to choose from. We can almost create a complete blackout for your bedroom or media room. Call them at 954-434-4774. That's 954-434-4774. Love the space you live in. A Shade Above Window Fashion.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
You got to tell you, I'm going to bring in our baseball expert to help me break this down. I think the Marlins hit one out of the park with these City Connect uniforms. So these just dropped this morning, right? I don't even know. I'm going to be so bad at describing this, but it's red with pinstripes, and then Miami is written like in cursive over the front and like blue with white. I just think they look really clean. They look really good. And good job by the Marlins. Because something, Alex, I give the Marlins credit because now it seems like a lot of the teams now, and the Heat have been to this well like 30 times. At this point, it's getting excessive. Like anytime they want to release a special edition now, they do like some other combination of the Vice colors. And it jumped the shark with the vice versa, the one that they had this year, which looks like, it looks like vomit after you eat cotton candy is what the vice versa looks like. But this Marlins City Connect, like it's a little bit different. It looks really clean. It looks fantastic. So I actually support this. I might even order one of these, man. And Alex, do you have any idea how much these run for? And are you getting one?
I'm not getting one because Kai Chisholm, he told me those jerseys are running for about $430, $435. Yeah.
What?
He told me that prior to
no freaking
Big
way.
O show. Yeah.
$400 for
So
one
that's
of those
a pass
things?
for me.
You got to go to one of those Chinese sites and get it for like $35 plus shipping. But then you get it like it never fits right. It always is always the thing. Like it's like one sleeve is longer than the other one. Oh, dude, $400 and some bucks. All right, I guess I'm just gonna have to admire it from far. I don't really know much about this. I did read this, and Mike Nogozone says the new baseball jerseys are a homage to the Havana Sugar Kings. Like, what is that? Is that a baseball team, the Havana Sugar Kings?
I think it was an old baseball team down here in South Florida.
Also, it wasn't in Havana. It was in South Florida.
Maybe it was in Cuba as well. Maybe they're trying to honor an old team in Cuba. But, like, they've done this in the past as well. I know I think a couple years ago, a year ago or 2 years ago, to honor the Negro Leagues, they wore uniforms from local teams from in the 40s and 50s. So they have all these. I like what the Marlins are doing in honoring old teams from the past, whether it's from the area, from South Florida, or from in Cuba, because there's a lot of Cuban families and Cuban fans who live down here in South Florida, and baseball is the sport in that island.
Oh yeah,
baseball and boxing, those are the sports, and there's a lot of people down here who love baseball, and I feel like that's a good way just to get in more ties with the community and just to be more involved with them.
So I've got the Sugar Kings Wikipedia page. It says the Havana Sugar Kings were a Cuban-based minor league baseball team that had played from 1946 to 1960. From 54 until 1960, they belonged in the Class AAA International League, affiliated with Major League Baseball's Cincinnati Reds. Their home stadium was El Gran Estadio del Cerro, sometimes called Grand Stadium in Havana. But it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, they left Cuba. So the team existed after Castro. They moved out of Cuba. Yeah, in 1960, Castro nationalized all U.S.-owned enterprises in Cuba, and on July 8th, baseball commissioner Ford Frick, under pressure from Secretary of State Christian Herter, announced that the Sugar Kings would move to Jersey City, New Jersey, and became the Jersey City Jerseys. Wow, what a terrible name for a baseball team. The Jersey City Jerseys. I mean, they lasted only through the 1961. No kidding. The name was so bad, it probably bankrupted them. Then they folded due to poor attendance. The franchise was then sold to a Florida group from Jacksonville and became the Jacksonville Suns, who began play in the International League in 1962. That franchise moved to Portsmouth, Virginia in 1969 and became the Tidewater Tides, another awful name, and remains in that region as the Norfolk Tides. Okay, so that's interesting. So I didn't know that. So it was a team that started in Cuba, and then after Castro, they moved to the United States. Yeah, Rafa in Miami writes, very popular team in Cuba. They played in Havana, writes Mike Nogozones, but were a AAA team. I learn new things every day. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk with our guy, Stephen D. Big debut tonight. The fans who support the teams, they buy the jerseys and tickets, but never get the love that they deserve on sports radio. OnSideRadio.com changes that with Miami sports music for the fans. It's the show driven by Stephen D., representing Miami sports fans around the world. Tune in every night from 6 to 7 p.m. as Stephen D. and fans around the world drive to talk about your favorite South Florida sports team. OnSideRadio.com is dedicated to the Miami sports fan.
The man of the match with South Florida's own Alex Donno. Weekdays 1 to 5 p.m. on the home for InterMiami football. OnSideRadio.com.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
When you're looking for curtains and blinds to create a space of your own, look no further than Bandalux. Bandalux can tailor your space to your needs. Create the atmosphere and ambiance you desire. We invite you to discover it at Bandalux.com. Explore our new solar control systems, range of sustainable fabrics, and energy-efficient solutions that can improve your well-being and quality of life. Witness Bandalux Beauty. Go to Bandalux.com or follow them on Instagram at Bandalux_official. For a personal experience, A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie and Sunrise is an official Bandalux partner.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now, it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Parents, we know we can't protect our kids from everything. Eventually, they're going to bump their heads or scrape their knees. But we can protect them from 6 types of cancer. HPV, or human papillomavirus, is a common preventable virus that can cause cancer later in life. The HPV vaccine prevents human papillomavirus and all the cancers it can cause. The American Cancer Society recommends getting your sons and daughters the HPV vaccine starting at age 9 to protect them later in life.
Join the InterMiami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com, broadcasting from South Florida to the world. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Got an exciting debut here on Onside Radio tonight, and this is a long time coming, man. I mean, first of all, I'm a big fan of this dude. He's a good friend of mine. I had him in studio a couple of weeks ago. We've been corresponding for a number of years now. Stephen D. from Miami Sports Music for the fans, debuting tonight, each and every night, 6 to 7 o'clock. Stephen, so happy to have you aboard Onside Radio. Thank you so much for everything you do. How you doing tonight, man?
Oh man, thank you for having me. I'm super excited, man. I'm a little nervous, a little pumped up, a little excited. You hit the nail on the head. We have been talking about this for many years, and now it's kind of finally come to fruition.
Absolutely, man. And this is a good time to get rolling because it's kind of the calm before the storm, before things really pick up in the NFL and the months before training camp and all that. But there's always something to talk about with the Dolphins, man. What are you thinking about hitting on tonight?
Well, tonight, our first guest for our show is going to be Scott Howell, who is one of the fan club presidents of Atlanta Dolphin Club. And just so everybody knows what this show is going to be about, Miami Sports Music was created over 10 years ago by the rapper, the Honorable Solo D. And it was just something that he wanted to do, is make music for fans. And obviously it's grown from there. And now we do podcasts and we do a lot of other things. And so when I spoke with Big O about, coming on and doing a show, I was like, I want to do something for the fans. And Big O was right on the money because he's been wanting to do something that's designed for the fans too. So, each day we're going to talk with a fan from around the world. It's going to be Dolphins centric in the beginning, just because I know a lot more Dolphins fans. But I eventually want to get into Heat fans and Panther fans and Florida Marlins fans and just Miami fans, period. CF fans. And I want to talk to them about, their love for the team, how they fell in love with the sport, how they fell in love with, becoming a super fan if they're a super fan, or creating a Dolphin fan club. Because one of the best parts about being a Miami Dolphin fan is I've gotten to meet somebody like Solo D 10 years ago, and now it's grown into this. And so you never know who you're going to meet and the type of relationships you're going to cultivate. And you are one of those relationships I've gotten to cultivate over the years. And now all of a sudden we're going back to back every night, for 5 nights a week. I'm super stoked.
It's so cool, man. And you're so right about Dolphins fans. Like, being a Dolphins fan, it's like being a fan of like a big European soccer club, because you meet people from all over the world. I know Dolphins fans in Europe. I know Dolphins fans in Canada. I know Dolphins fans, of course, all over the United States. I'm fortunate enough to live in the hub. Like, I've lived, all my life in South Florida, but I realize that Dolphin fandom goes way beyond this bubble. And so, I think being able to talk to fans and tell the stories is so incredible. So, man, I'm pumped. I'm hype. I can't wait to hear the debut of Miami sports music for the fans. Steve, thank you so much, man. And everyone, make sure you lock it in for the next hour. Break a leg, my friend. Have a great show.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Love you, man.
Really good stuff. Love you, too. And so stay tuned. New show every single weeknight, 6 to 7 o'clock. The fans support the teams. They buy the jerseys and tickets, but they never get the love they deserve on sports radio. Until now, Onside Radio changes that with Miami sports music for the fans. It's the show driven by Stephen D., representing Miami sports fans around the world. Tune in every night from 6 to 7 p.m. as Steve and fans around the globe drive the talk about your favorite South Florida sports team. OnsideRadio.com is dedicated to the Miami sports fan.
Welcome to OnsideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. No station in South Florida provides more live and local sports talk.
This is like rock and roll with no music.
Follow us on social media at Onside Radio. Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available, from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.